Foggy, hold me. Yo, hello everyone. Welcome to Go Live. Welcome to the depressing podcast. No, this is Go Live. This is gonna. Sorry to keep you waiting as always. It's almost like a feature of our podcast being late. That's all thanks to me. Some apologies. Thank you. Shout out to everyone here. We missed last week, and it feels like I'm doing this all over again with the boys. We have returning guests. Well, say part of Go, and we've got a new face in the space. We love our debuts here. Before we do introduce our guests, shout out to everyone in the chat, shout out to the members, shout out to the mods. I see you, Spartan, Ripped De Silva, James, Eat Ranks, Serendipity, Joshua, Magnum Westwood, Epic Treasure. What are you saying? Spartan 661, oh, everyone. We're gonna get toasty. Shout out to the channel members who keep this thing afloat barely. Asa, how are you, man? We missed last week. I'm sure you missed my face. How are you doing?
Fantastic. I didn't miss your face at all because I got pictures all around my bedroom of your face. So I've not missed a day, not skipped a beat. I'm enjoying all the games, all the conversations, all the streaming, everything at the moment. So fantastic, and I'm looking forward to getting into it.
Yeah, man. Weird with the comment with my. I don't know why. Actually, I'm flattered. I'm actually secretly happy. I'm glad. Someone has to have their pictures, my pictures in their house. Stop Player DX, what's up? What's up, Shabs? What's up, everyone in the chat? We're gonna get lit. Huggy, you've been, you're a part of us. For someone who doesn't have social media, you seem to make a lot of waves as well. It's quite convenient for you to be away from the noise, because I've been seeing your face not only on Podcasting Circus, but on Twitter clips constantly. We're going to get into it, but my man, Hagi Chani, how you doing, bro? It's been a while. How you doing, my G?
I'm doing better today. I had something going on for the last couple of days. I had some cold thing, whatever it was. But today is a little bit better, so hopefully it's on the mend. But yeah, outside of that, of course, we've had a lot of fun news, and we'll be having this nice little direct that's going on for PlayStation. Oh,
He's making his debut in Go Live!
Thank you guys so much, man. I appreciate you guys so much for having me on. Big fan of the show. And
there's no sound, apparently. Asa's fucking muted it.
I didn't mute it. We had momentary software crash when I moved my keyboard.
Your scream killed everything. That's the problem.
Redo.
They didn't hear.
So what we didn't hear, I can tell you what we didn't hear was your intro for Detective Seed. So please run it from there.
Oh
no!
But you know what, chat? You know what? They still say there's no chat, no sound. Is sound back? It's back.
There is sound.
It's back.
Yeah.
Well, chat, you missed it, but just for you, I'll do it again.
Oh
Debut
my God, here we go.
Here we go. It is Detective Seed.
That was awesome. Thanks for doing it twice.
Yeah.
I appreciate you guys having me, man. Big fan of the show. Big fan of you guys' content, and glad to be on here to talk some games.
Oh man, it's good to have you on here. It's been a while. We've been trying to make it work for a while, but it's good to have you here. We love having fresh faces here as well, and we've chopped it up in party chat and whatnot. So it's like, come on, man. Yeah, it was about time to have this. What time for you to come here? I don't know if you're going to regret it or not, because it's going to be a particular set of topics today.
We'll see.
Exciting stuff as well, because there's a lot going on in the world of Xbox, and this show is going to be primarily, well, actually, I say it's going to focus on Xbox, but by virtue of the topic, might also cover other platforms. Fucking good. Anyway, before we do that, the usual thing is like when we get a new guest, Detective Seats, we get our new debut guest to let the chat and the people know a little bit about themselves. So you tell the people what your channel is about and your gaming preferences.
Oh boy. So my channel, I specialize in reviews. I do a lot of accessibility related reviews, as well as 4 other primary criteria of a game. I focus on accessibility because I'm a veteran. And so I have a lot of friends that have had injuries and so on and so forth that prevent them from playing games a certain way. I'm thankful that I get early access to a lot of games. So I'm able to review and do a lot of previews. So if you're looking for another outlet to be able to take in that content, I don't tell you yes or no on a game. I basically, when I break down the game, I say who should buy and who should not based off core concepts, because I don't like to be told what I should buy. So I kind of display the game, tell you what I liked, what I didn't like, let you guys make the decision on whether you buy it or not.
No, that's cool. That's interesting.
Yeah. And I do story analysis on my channel where I take games, break them down further. I do a lot of guides, especially on Diablo. I've had some pretty good guides that have gone pretty well. So what was the other question? Gaming preferences?
Yeah. Say your top 3 games of all time, put you on the spot there. Well, what would come to mind? Or the top 3 games, just to make it a little bit easier. What comes to mind? Top 3 games.
Number 1 would be Twisted Metal.
Ooh.
When I was younger, my dad was gone a lot on deployments, so I played a ton of Twisted Metal, kind of get through that time.
Oh.
Yep. I would say the first Halo. The reason for that is because I remember carrying my Xbox and my TVs to all my friends' house and just being able to build friendships and getting to meet. That was my first interaction of playing games, multiplayer, with other people from all over. And then I would say probably the one I keep going back to over and over again would probably be Grand Theft Auto series, just across the board.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm a huge Grand Theft Auto fan, Rockstar in general, Red Dead. So I would say just anything under that umbrella of Rockstar, I'm a huge fan of.
Oh, yeah, that's solid pickings there. Twisted Metal is a pretty cool one. It's all about what game means to you. Which Twisted Metal in particular?
The first one.
The first one? Oh,
very first one. Yeah. I'm in my mid-30s, so growing up around that time frame, I've always had both consoles growing up. So I know a lot of people, what's your favorite console? I don't really have one way or the other because I've always had both growing up. So
yeah. Oh, well, if you're not confident.
When you were growing up, is that when Nintendo was sort of on a downward slide? So did you even bother with Nintendo?
I played a little bit of Nintendo, but I'll probably get slaughtered for this in the comments. I never was a huge Nintendo guy. I loved Mario and stuff like that whenever I was younger, but I really started to get into Nintendo 64 whenever that was coming up, and then I started to make that transition into Xbox. Sega Genesis for a little while was there, and then straight into the PlayStations, and I had both. My mom worked for a toy store, so I was like Richie Rich, the kid that got all the cool shit and all the toys because my mom worked there. So I've always been balanced my entire life on the gaming. So
yeah, it's interesting that age range. If you were like a little bit older, then Nintendo would have been a part of because that was what it was. It was Nintendo, and then Sega came along, right? And so then And then Sony came along and kind of disrupted the whole market. And then, Xbox came in. And it's just interesting, right in that age range where it's like, it could be that you don't even care about it because it was kind of on the downward slide. And then Sony and kind of Xbox were kind of taking over, right?
Yeah, I was catching on the way out. It's interesting because I have two kids. So I have 13 and then my other one's 7. And they don't give a shit about platforms either. Like they have both.
They're probably on mobile, right? On tablets?
A lot, and PC. They like, I mean, my son, he's so quick on flicking the mouse, and I'm like, I can't do that shit. I'm old as hell now. I get, so it's just it's interesting.
God. PC Master Race is corrupting everyone. It's corrupting everyone. Hoggy laughs for a reason. That maniacal laugh. So what have you been playing recently?
Man, I've been doing a ton. So reviews have started back up again. I reviewed Prince of Persia. I'm actually reviewing. I've been playing The Last of Us 2 Remastered. Say what you want. I know it's, I go back and forth on those, but I'm reviewing that, so I'll have that out next week. Nice. I did a story analysis on Grand Theft Auto 3, just to kind of go back in time with Grand Theft Auto 6 coming and kind of tell the story of how it's progressed.
Oh, wicked! That's actually really good.
Yeah, so I do quite a few. I got some previews coming up. I do have some other NDA games. I'm thankful, I get along really well and have good contacts both on Xbox, both on PlayStation side. So, and I think a lot of it's because I do the accessibility focused, reviews. And so it gets me in to access I'm almost at 15,000 subscribers. So, I think that gets me a little bit more leeway to getting codes because I specialize and do those in my reviews.
Oh, wicked, man. That's really good. We're going to touch on Prince of Persia in a bit. I think the reviews are out now. Huggy, what have you been playing? You're muted.
Sorry. I've been going through Persona 4 before it leaves Game Pass on Monday.
Oh, wow.
I don't know how far along I am. Hopefully far enough along that I can, plow through the rest of it and get it over with by Monday. Not get it over with, but finish it.
How are you finding it?
I think Persona 5 is a little bit better, but it's pretty similar. Thankfully, there's no continuity between any of them, so you can play any of them. You don't have to start at any given one of them. Persona 3 is also leaving, but Persona 3 Reload or whatever, the new remaster thingy is coming in a month or so, right? So I figured I'd skip Persona 3, wait for the new one, and just get through this one. They're long though. That's the downside. They're like 100-hour games, so you have to kind of spend the time. But yeah, whatever. So playing through it, it's fun enough so far. Certainly better than Baldur's Crap. Sorry.
Oh, shit. People know you as Huggy. Oh, he's the guy who doesn't like Baldur's Gate. Oh, that guy.
More people are playing that game and finding the same thing. It is like some people love it. They really do. And some people are just like, this is just not for me.
What did you not like about it?
Look, like when I start a game, if it's going to hook me, it's going to hook me, right? I gave it 12 hours. It never hooked me. It just never hooked me. I'm like, this is just, the story just is so bland to me. The characters were all, now maybe it's just me. Like, I like to see some character that has redeeming qualities. All of them were evil. And I'm like, all right, I like, and good. A lot of people like that. That's fine, right? Characters with flaws and negative aspects, fine. But it's just, to me, it's like, I want somebody that I can care about. It just wasn't there.
Game of Thrones? Did you ever watch Game of Thrones?
Yeah. And up to like season, what was it? 7 or 8 where they like kind of deviated away from the books because there weren't no books that any more books available. It was great up to then, and then it was like okay, and then the last season was like
Game of Thrones,
really,
because most characters tend to have a pretty dark side, I think, and I wondered whether you had an affinity with
not really. There were characters like, well, I don't want to ruin things, but there's certainly a character you can follow that you're like, yeah, this is the good guy, and you just kind of follow their path. It's like, yes, I can relate to this dude. All right, this is cool. Some of them were flawed, fair enough, but like some of them, I could actually follow through and like.
But at least you played it.
Yeah, I mean, 12 hours is a fair amount of time to give to a game.
That's a lot, of course it is. Magnum
like, it just wasn't. I was in the middle of a battle. And that battle took I was probably 35 minutes in, and I finally killed. It's like a little mini boss, and I had 10 minions, and the mini boss, I finally killed the mini boss, and literally the whole time, all I'm doing is I revive my teammate, I revive my teammate, I revive my teammate. 10 times later, I finally, and if they ever attack, they miss. They miss. They miss. I'm like, dude, this is just so boring. Finally, I kill that stupid thing, and there's 10 minions left. I'm like, this is going to take another 20 minutes. I'm sitting here just going through revive my teammate, revive my... Like, I don't even care about these characters. Let them die. And I'm like, why am I playing this? Like, it just did not click for me at all. And I'm like, I'm just done. Uninstall.
You're not alone. You're not alone. So people,
and I've found more people are getting to that point that they're like, it just depends on the person. Some people they love it, and some people I'm like, yeah, this just ain't for me. And I was just one of those. I'm like, that just ain't for me. I went into it going like Zelda. I couldn't put it down. I didn't even sleep. I just kept playing.
Oh yeah.
Same thing with Starfield. I couldn't sleep. I would just keep playing.
Zelda, yeah.
I thought this was gonna be the next one of those, and it just wasn't.
Yeah.
So for me,
it just is what it is.
What I'm annoyed by is that one game of the year.
Yeah.
What was that? Sorry, Asa. What was that?
I said you've relaxed since last time. That was a much more like reasonable take than last time when you just said it was trash and everybody's wrong for liking it.
It's that. So like, I don't care that people like it. I just hate that it is game of the year. Like, why? If I can't even see any redeeming quality, why is it game of the year? Right? All the nitpicks they have of other games never applied here because all those same things exist in this, and I'm like, why are you nitpicking those games when you have the same problems here, but this game is a 96? Really? Like, there have to be detractors, right? Other games get detractors. Why are there no... It's the same thing with, you just mentioned Last of Us Part 2. Are you telling me that, like, half the gaming community hates it, half the gaming community loves it, every single reviewer loves it? Really? Just, like, how is that possible? How is that even possible? You have to have at least somebody say, yeah, this just didn't do it for me. Every reviewer 10. Like, what? Come on.
I don't think statistically, and I could be wrong on this, but I don't think statistically we get to see how they formulated in terms of their picks. Do we get to see that? You know, how many picks Baldur's Gate?
So if you go to like OpenCritic, you can actually see every single review that came in, right? And what it's rated at, right?
I meant for the game of the year picks. Like, do we get to see which journalist picked? Because there's so many outlets that get to choose that. I'm not sure if we get to see that or not.
You can see which outlets were voting for the TGAs, at least, right? But you don't get to see what they voted, right? Exactly. You're right. You don't get to see the actual percentage breakdown of what
that would be
voted.
interesting to see.
But yeah, I mean, I figured it was going to be Baldur's Gate. Once you saw those scores, you're like, yeah, it's going to win, right? it's going to win. And that's the part that annoyed me. Is like, come on, this? In comparison to all the other games that came out, this? Like, I would have put Hogwarts higher than that. Like, and Hogwarts was fantastic. That was such a great game. It didn't even get nominated for anything at TGAs. I'm like, come on.
It's just horses for courses. Pun intended. It's just not going to resonate with everyone. But what game have you been playing? Oh no, you said Persona.
Persona's the recent one. Yeah.
No, I need to get to Persona 4. Persona 5, I had it on PS5, but I felt like this is a game I wanted to play on handheld, just like and carry on. Not something I want to sit on the screen and play. I was really enjoying my time on that first castle bit, but yeah, there's a lot of going to school and chatting to people. It still got me because of that. It was so like stylistically, it's so cool. But it's another game I need to play. Asa, what have you been playing?
Baldur's Gate 3. Second awesome game, loving every minute of it. Every battle, every turn. When my guys miss, I'm like, oh, that's funny. Having a great time. And if I have a companion and they're like, oh, I don't like that one, I want them to die, I let them die. Because you can do that. You've got so much freedom. I don't sit there reviving them. Like, usually it's my wife. I'm like, whatever, she's dead now. Leave her behind for like 5 hours. I'm having a brilliant time. Among other things, I've actually had a weird week of games because I decided to delve into the PC space a little bit more, and I played some World of Warcraft and some League of Legends, which are both like monolith titles doing weird things. So I've dabbled in both of those. I've been playing the VR still. I was on Arizona Sunshine a couple of hours before this show. What else? Some Forza, some Rocket League. Loads of stuff. More than that as well, but it's hard to recall it all because it's been 2 weeks.
You have the
Yeah.
Meta, the Quest Pro, right?
Yes.
Does that also has the Xbox app thing, right?
Yes.
The Game Pass thing. Okay, have you tried like Forza in that? Does it seem reasonably useful?
It's very, very situational in the way that I would say that like a PlayStation Portal is very situational. The cloud streaming on a MetaQuest is, to me, the worst way you can possibly engage with an Xbox game. If you've got a load of choices available, that would be bottom of the pile. But for some people, Gamsey was saying that he likes to just lay in bed and play it. No,
but you can connect the Quest Pro to PC, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It works the same as a Quest in that sense.
Okay, and so then have you tried it with the PC version, like the Steam version or whatever, to play Forza that way?
Game Pass app thing. No, I don't cloud stream if I can help it.
Would be cloud, right? I'm saying like you could just use Steam VR.
To actually play,
right?
No. So the problem with that is you can play things in a cinema mode, but a headset screen, much as you can blow it up all big and stuff, you're never going to get like the pixel density of a TV or something like that, and you're never going to get the comfort. So you're going through all the downsides of sticking a VR headset on and getting none of the upsides of actually being in VR. So you usually, if you want to play a pancake game, play it on a pancake display, nice and relaxed. In my opinion, some people do find uses for it, particularly lying in bed and playing games and things like that. So there are real situational uses for it.
Is that like mod company that like takes games that aren't designed for VR and allows you to make them VR-ish? Have you played around with that? I can't remember the name of it.
So it's not a company. It's the Unreal Engine injector is the main one. It's from a chap named Praydog. He's just one chap that works on it. He's the same chap that did all of the Capcom VR mods. The Unreal Engine injector is a phenomenal project. And within a couple of weeks, it's more of a framework. So you get this injector, you can fire up pretty much anything in Unreal Engine, and you can jump into it and see if it's good or not and how well it works. But if you wait a little while, people are going to tweak those games further to fully like profile them up and make them more like real VR games. It's freaking awesome.
Guys, you don't have any interest in this?
You're speaking Spanish.
Yeah.
Really? You know,
Maybe speaking Chinese right now.
I mean, it's finally getting to the point now that it's mixed reality, that it's actually kind of interesting. And now it really comes down to the content, right? I assume you played that new one, Asura's Guard, or whatever it was called. Asura's Wrath. Asura's Wrath.
Mm.
Yeah, right. So how's that? Did you enjoy that one?
I've not got that far into it yet because I'm waiting for it to work on my treadmill. So not a good call on that. Last year, so the tail end of last year was a really interesting time for VR in general. Like VR has been pretty much dead in terms of content for a good
and now it's
3-4
sort of picking up.
And all of a sudden there's just a few like blips of interesting projects, interesting things. Like a slew of games actually came out in December. There's a couple in January, and it's like, oh, I don't know if it's going to continue. It might be we get to February and that's it, and we have another dead 3 or 4 years. But it'd be nice for me if we get.
Well, let's hope not. Let's hope it like picks up. There seems to be momentum behind it now, right? And PSVR 2 unfortunately has kind of fizzled a bit, but the Quest 3 seems to be pushing things, which hey, maybe it'll get people into it.
And obviously,
hey, Gaz, is your Tamagotchi still alive?
But...
What was that?
Tamagotchi.
I said, hey, Gaz, is your Tamagotchi still alive?
It died like 2 days. Yeah, when that thing was that was a cool little fad. Told me I was going to be a terrible dad, basically. Bloody Tamagotchi. Thanks, Hellgate, for that. That was fucking exhilarating chat on VR. This is why VR is dead. I'm sorry, I just don't know what you're talking about. Yeah. Anyway,
for what it's worth, that's my level of enthusiasm for the Xbox third-party chat that we're going to have for the rest of the show, just to be clear.
That puts it in perspective. That definitely puts it in perspective.
That was good.
Well, before we get into the all nitty-gritty of all that stuff, we have to talk about this Prince of Persia, The Lost Crown. I've downloaded it. I haven't had a chance to play it, but it seems to have got decent reviews. There's this Metroidvania type platformer doing really well. I saw a lot of Xbox guys celebrating, like, yeah, Digital Foundry, it runs better. And I'm like, okay. So, I mean, it's a 2D game, and it's not exactly a technical powerhouse, but the game seems to be doing quite well. And last time we saw it on the Game Awards, it just looked really good. We were very impressed with the way it looked, the gameplay as well. what is the Metacritic? Not that people say, hey, Metacritic. What is it? It's
87,
like
I think.
87. That's pretty
Thought it
good.
was.
86 at the moment. That's really, really good.
I love it.
I saw BG say that it had a weird like snapshot image feature that he said was really good, and I was surprised that Ubisoft are the ones who came out with something innovative. Does anyone know what he's talking about there?
Yeah, so what it is it's almost an accessibility feature in a sense. So if you're moving your way,
Sorry,
yeah, if you're moving your way through the levels and there's a spot that you can't get to yet because you don't have the abilities, you can select and it'll take a snapshot and then it puts it on your map. So as you get abilities, if you're into doing collectibles and getting the trophies and stuff like that, you can circle back and come back to that location to get up there to get whatever treasure is up there that you couldn't get to or you couldn't explore.
Oh, that's wicked. That's actually a really cool feature because
really
a lot of games like that, like Metroidvania games, you can tell, I was playing Metroid Prime, which is a beautiful game on the Switch at the moment, and I was like, it's going to give me these abilities. I can see these levels. I've got these things, and tracking back is going to be a bit of a headache. And that snapshot feature just kind of makes it a little bit more seamless.
They're called memory shards.
Yeah, memory shards.
You earn more as you go through because you only get, I think you get 12 to start with. So you can actually dwindle down if you're just taking pictures of just random shit. So if you start doing that, you're going to lose them. But whenever you fight different bosses and things like that, you can do that, or you can buy more at vendors. But that game, that was a very good way to start the year. It was the movement's crisp. I reviewed it on the Xbox Series X. Pre-day one patched, I played 60 FPS. I think it bumped up to 120 now with the day one patch. And that's for both consoles. Very crisp movement. I actually previewed the game and I had a concern about the counter window. It was very, very tight in the preview, almost too tight. It was like the guy would swing, I would press it. You could see where it was supposed to proc to do it, and the sword would just go right through me. And the demoist that I talked to from Ubisoft was like, "Yeah, we've had quite a few complaints, and they fixed it. It was excellent on my playthrough on the way through. It took me about 23 hours to get through.
Oh wow!
Yeah, if you're collectible and you're kind of going through trying to get everything, definitely 30 hours. And for $49.99. It was definitely the only people I didn't recommend it to is if you don't like Metroidvania. It does get pretty tough on the way through. So if you don't like a challenge, I told people they might skip it or wait for a sale if that's the issue. But everyone else, it's a good buy for your money.
Oh, okay.
I'd also recommend Ubisoft does have a subscription service, and there have been a recent slew of good games coming from them. So you could just pay for Ubisoft Plus. It gives you access on Xbox, on PC, and you get the full edition, Ultimate, with everything, right? So you're not getting just the base game; you get everything. So
I'm not a fan of Ubisoft games, but yeah, that's really good.
But yeah, just subscribe for a month or two, play all their games, and so you don't even have to pay $50. You can just subscribe, and you get access to the Ultimate Edition of like AC Mirage, which I loved. It was great. And they have
this message is brought to you by Ubisoft.
Avatar and now Prince of Persia, right? Just there have been quite a few games, and this is the beauty of a subscription service. Subscribe when you want to play, right? And then just play the games, and then when you're done, just unsubscribe and done.
And you got Skull and Bones coming up. That thing's been developed for like 18 years.
Oh, that's definitely going to be great. That's going to definitely sell the Ubisoft subscription service. Buy this shit. Outlaw in the chat.
When is that coming out anyways? Is that next month?
February, I think, yeah.
Next month, yeah.
The
thing is like that's the beauty of the subscription. If you have it, you can give it a try, and if it's your thing, it's your thing. If it's not, who cares? Uninstall.
Yeah, Game Pass. I'm being a dick, but no, absolutely, that's good. I do want to play Avatar, which I thanks to Colt, I have access to as well. It's just really good. The Prince of Persia, I definitely want to play. I've got that installed now. And yeah, it's going to be good. Blaze with a sacrilege in the $5 super chat. Sony is God Wallah. You all are wrong, you piece of shit. I saw your video as well. Watch yourself, Blaze. I'm coming for you. What do you mean you don't even play as Prince of Persia in this game? What's that about? I don't know what that's about.
Well, you play as Sargon.
The character, you rescue the Prince of Persia, right?
Yeah, like a guard or something like that.
It's a completely different story, but you play as Sargon. He's a young warrior that joins the Immortals. I don't want to ruin and spoil it, but yeah.
What did you think about the story?
Don't play Zelda.
That's a good one. Detective C, what did you, without spoilers, do you think the story was good?
Yeah. I thought for $50, the voice acting and the things that go along with an immersive story, I thought that it was pretty good. It takes you on some different loops. It's got some betrayal in it. It's got some moments of, you can see where Sargon really grows as a character. And I think for a game like that, a lot of people maybe wouldn't be expecting that, to see that type of detail whenever the focus is really on going through the different levels. And so I thought that they actually did a pretty good job there of adding an immersive story as much as you can for that type of game.
Oh, that's pretty good, man.
I hope it does well for them, because like they need more of this kind of thing instead of the constant Ubisoft formula with 500 icons. Like Valhalla was the worst. It was so bad. It was like 200 hours to just play the base. Like, it's just ridiculous.
I'm a Quest 4, so I can't agree.
Right? I couldn't even attach myself to the character. I hated the concept. It was so dumb. I loved Odyssey. I loved the ones before it, but like that one it like took me off of Assassin's Creed. AC Mirage, on the other hand, was fantastic.
Yeah.
But I think they do that, more bite-sized chunk games, different varieties like this where it's 2D side. This is a good idea. Just like bring back different types of games so that some people like this over playing Valhalla, right? You can just jump in, play 15-20 hours, right? That's cool. Versus 200 hours, it's nuts. So
30 hours sounds pretty decent as well. And you're right, that they should do that. Ubisoft will be keeping it's Ubisoft. They're like, all right, green light 17 Prince of Persia games now because they've got some success here. After Avatar, that would have been, they've already been under masses of pressure. We know that publicly, Yves Guillemot, or however you pronounce his name, he's putting pressure on the teams that, this make or break time for Ubisoft. So I think Avatar would have been a scathing little dent, a big dent to them. We consider the budget and the prestige that was supposed to be there. John Carpenter was really was really looking forward to that game being good. Prince of Persia is going to be a very good, start. Almost like breaks the cycle of Ubisoft's tedium. So it's good to see, and it's good to see. Like, hopefully they realize that. I'm with you there. I had access. I was in my friend's house. He works for Ubisoft, and he showed me Valhalla running maybe almost 2 years before the game was even announced. And he's there on his laptop, and he's showing to me, because guys, look at this. I'm like, should we play Smash Brothers? And he was so like, you piece of shit, you're not excited about this game. I'm like, it just looks dry. And I just like Ubisoft, for me, remember the old Prince of Persia games? Was it Sands of Time or whatever? That was amazing, man. And what happened with Beyond Good and Evil? Is that dead now? Like, what are Ubisoft doing with that? Like,
it's interesting to see the stages that we go through as gamers. Because, like, for me, I enjoy those breakups of monotony, I guess, if you will, those big games. But I also I'm so addicted to going into these open worlds and becoming so immersed with just everything. Like, I am what you would call a quest whore. I like to get one from one, go to the other, and I just enjoy those types of games where I'm at, I guess, in my life now. But it is nice to have, Mirage did a very good job of breaking it up and kind of taking us back to those older days of being an assassin. Prince of Persia did a really good job. Avatar was okay. It was beautiful. I just, the formula there, I think for me, I had complaints as it went through. A lot of people compared it to Far Cry, which I could see, but it just didn't do it for me as much as Far Cry, and maybe it's just because the weapon handling in it I didn't think was as crisp, in my opinion. And some might say Far Cry's not crisp, but that's just my own interpretation of playing the game. So
it's different strokes for different folks. Is like Ubisoft, a lot of like Cole, Dealer, all these guys, they have fans. They're just like you. They love the questing. Yeah. The quest. I'm the outlier in the party chat with them, and they're talking about this game. Well, this game is shit. And then they're like, "Shut up, guys! You don't know what you're talking about." And they love that kind of stuff.
Everybody likes different things, right? So, Mirage, did you play that on Xbox, or did you play that on PC or PlayStation?
You're talking to me?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I actually, Ubisoft, I wanted to do some testing because they were talking about the performance was going to be different on everywhere. So I actually played it on both consoles whenever I reviewed it. My actual review that I put out, if I remember correctly, I believe was for my PlayStation 5, but I did get to experience it on both before release. I didn't play it on PC though.
Yeah, I had 2 complaints. One was I couldn't save in the middle of missions, which kind of sucked. And the majority of the reason of that is because it crashed on me all the time. I think I must have had like 2 or 3 dozen crashes, something like that. And it would I'd go through 20, 30 minutes of something and it would crash. I have to redo 20, 30 minutes. It was kind of a pain in the neck.
Was it PC on Xbox?
This was on Xbox, and I'm like, what the heck is going on? So, but that really detracted from the game was just the stupid crashes, which is just weird. It's almost never the case on a console that you get that many crashes. But
yeah, I didn't have any.
It crashed a ton on me. I'm like, what the heck is this? But yeah, other than that, I loved it. I loved going back to the normal old formula. I love that formula. But like the crashes and then not being able to save, because then I would just save every couple of minutes so that I don't have to redo things, right? But I couldn't even do that. Like, ugh.
I will say one thing that sucks about, I guess I shouldn't complain because I enjoy it, but one thing that sucks about getting early access to games to do reviews is sometimes that day one patch will break shit that I didn't experience whenever I was playing it. I will put out the review. Someone will say, they'll go and buy it, and then they'll come back and say, hey, I'm having all these issues. And then whenever you go and you actually dissect it and look, it was the day one patch, whatever they did. Yeah. Just breaks it.
Fix this thing, but broke that thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So it makes you look like a jackass whenever in all actuality you didn't have those issues.
That's pretty shitty.
That was so disappointing with that. I'm like, why is it crashing? I was almost giving up. I'm like, okay, I'm just going to move over to PC if this is going to keep happening. But I kind of stuck with it for most of it. I'm like, fine, I'll just stick with it.
And I've had the opposite where it crashes a lot. Once they do the day one patch, you're good. So it goes both ways.
Yeah.
Okay, Matthaus in the chat has been crying about this point. I just need to address it. Gaz, why do you buy and play PlayStation games? What kind of question is that? What is that?
Why not?
What the fuck? What? What do you want me to say? I don't know. To play
they make good games? Like, why is that a problem?
He keeps saying this. I don't know what that means. He's been saying it all the time.
I'm going to play PlayStation games. I'm just playing them on PC. But like,
because they're not free.
Yeah, well, exactly. I'm buying them because I buy them. I don't even buy them anymore. I haven't got a PS5 at the moment. I haven't played my PS5 in 6 months or something.
They cost money.
What the fuck kind of question is that? I thought you were an Xbox guy. Yeah, Xbox guys can. This is gonna blow your mind, but that was just brace yourself here. Xbox guys, we can play games on other platforms. What the fuck?
Like Zelda on Nintendo.
Yeah, fucking Zelda, man. Like, I've been playing Nintendo for ages right now. I've been playing Anthem on, not Anthem, what's it called? The finals. I always call it Anthem. The finals on Xbox. I don't know why. It's just a weird name. I don't understand. I don't even touch my PlayStation. He's still asking me that question. I haven't even touched it in 6 months. But okay. Fucking chat, man. Chat, who is this guy? I've never seen this guy. This has got to be a new soccer account or some shit. But thank you for entertaining us. He kept saying it on chat. I was like, ignore him. He's done it again. Oh, what the fuck does he want? Yeah.
I'm on his side. I think you should stay in your lane.
Fuck ponies. I'm gonna go and stick to be honest, actually, the PlayStation is helping me stay in my lane by not releasing any games.
But Xbox will help. Don't worry, it's coming.
Xbox will help. Fuck you. So damn it, Algie. Well, you know what? That's a good segue. That's a good segue into the next topic. Chat. We've had this chat before, but now it seems like the rumor mill has been going, and I've been hearing things from multiple people as well. And these are not sources like when you say you were just talking to Cole and this and that and that. It's coming from direct sources with direct connections. So I'm gonna say some shit. Whether you believe me or not, I don't give a fuck, man. You know me, man. I don't want this to be true. So if it's true, it's true. Again, Big disclaimer, it's a rumor. Yes, it is. What's the rumor? Gaz, what are you talking about? Xbox games are supposed to be going third party. It set the internet alight if you are frequenting Twitter and what's it called? Xbox Hi-Fi Rush is supposed to be out, or supposed to be coming out on the Nintendo Switch. Then it morphed into actually Hi-Fi Rush might actually come out for PlayStation. And then we heard Sea of Thieves is probably going to PlayStation, and Jez Corden has been hearing rumblings as well. The funny thing is, I'm not bullshitting you, okay? This has come from a source of mine, yeah? I found out before anyone else did. And he said this to me, and a guy I trust fully 100%. I'm like, shut up, that's not true. Where'd you get it from? And he said, lad, this is what he's hearing. He gave me the details of some of the shit. And I'm like, what? This can't be true. I'm still like this, like that can't be true. And then boom, the articles are coming out. Other people are saying it. And I'm like, oh shit. There might be fucking the smoke here, so there's something happening here. So the internet went on fire, and now there have been multiple takes, and there's only one true take, and it was the take of my friend Hargit. The internet went after him, but I agreed with every single thing he said, Buster. I agree with you fully. You got accosted online when people were sharing this clip of you because
let them, whatever.
It's our time. Some of the stuff you said was pretty crazy, but like the way you said it, but I love the passion and I understand you completely. Okay, I understand you fucking completely. You said, and this clip has been going around and said, like, it's our time now, which I loved. It was brilliant. But you're like, why? Why would you do that? You made us fucking withstand an entire generation of bullshit. We rallied behind you. And then here you go, your first new IP that does really well critically anyway. Here we go. We're going to release it on everything else, on Nintendo Switch or PlayStation. Huggy Channy, you have been going through, they've been taking that clip. It's so funny. I love the fact that you can just set the internet.
Whatever.
Yeah, good. That's the attitude. It should be like that. It should be like that. Good. That's why I love you, bro. It's like you say what you need to say. But Huggy,
exactly.
You and bear in mind, I do agree with you, whether I disagree with you or not, or whatever. But I actually agree with you and keeping it real for fucking. I'm going to go into some of the other takes in a bit. Definitely getting Detective Seeds thing, and he's going to be like, "What the fuck are you guys saying?" But Huggy, just give you a chance to elaborate on this, knowing I agree with you. But I wanted to get your viewpoint on this. Hi-Fi Rush, you said it's just stupid, it's pathetic. It's kind of like you're kind of spitting at the faces of true Xbox fans who have rallied behind this brand. What I wanted to know from you is if Hi-Fi Rush appeared just on the Nintendo Switch, would you be pissed?
Look, this would be a first-party game that they're saying, yeah, we just concede. What the hell? We'll put it on a platform that's not ours. Okay, then what stops the next one, the next one, the next one, the next one? Because look, eventually there's no actual good reason for them to just stop there, right? Because I can give you the flip of the argument as to why they should go third-party. I can totally give you that one, right? But if they want to do it, that's what's going to happen, right? Because once you dip your toe, it's gonna be all of it. Okay, Master Chief Collection will show up.
Slippery slip.
It is what it is. Everyone's like, it'll never be Halo until it happens. Until it happens, because it will. Okay, so that's the reason, right? You say, okay, this small little title that happens to be the first new IP that you released on the generation, we're just gonna say, it's not really an exclusive. Go away. Okay, and we're going to put that over there. Who cares? It's just Hi-Fi Rush. Oh, then it's Sea of Thieves. Rare is one of your first studios that you bought. So their game is now going to be multi-plat. Oh, okay.
Yeah,
well, what's the other first studio you bought? Oh, that would be Bungie and Halo. So you're saying that won't happen? Oh, live service games. Isn't Halo Infinite a live
That's what I'm saying, bro. I'm saying it says live service is okay.
You just go down this path, and essentially every game is fair game at that point, right? So you just say, all right, Either you are third party or you aren't, because then every time there's a game announced, is this going to be on the other side or not?
Yeah.
Every time.
Yeah.
Because why wouldn't it be? You're the one making it wishy-washy. Either say it's this way or that way. Which way is it? Right? Just come out and say it. If you're going to be third party, that's fine. Just say
It's
it.
not fine, but yeah.
Just say it, right? Because then we understand where the world is turning, right?
So you're alluding to the messaging, and that's the point that people are pissed off about, particularly me. It's just like, you've let this. There is enough noise. There has been enough noise generated about this, actually post Blade, that that warrants a response, particularly when a lot of the mainstream media are talking about it. But no one is. Microsoft is staying mum.
Yeah. So like Ori,
reason.
for instance, people point to Ori. Okay, but Ori wasn't first party developed. It was a separate studio. They worked on it in partnership. Xbox owns the IP, I believe.
Yeah.
But Moon Studios is the one who made the game, and they wanted it on another platform. And they're like, fine, we'll put it on Nintendo. We won't put it on PlayStation, but we'll put it on Nintendo. Okay, fine, right? That's a concession they made with that external studio, development studio.
Yeah,
this is an in-house studio. This is your in-house IP. This is your game. Why do you need to put it somewhere else? You can say, oh, it doesn't. It's financially better. Why? You make $1 billion in profit every quarter. In Xbox, forget Microsoft, who makes like freaking $30 billion in profit every quarter. You're telling me you need money?
Didn't they just become the biggest, the richest company in the world now? Or so they overtook Apple?
They are the wealthy, like the most valuable company because of investment on them, right? But whatever. They do not need money. That's a baloney story. They just got ABK. King makes over $1 billion in profit on their own.
Yeah,
King is ridiculous. Okay, and that's not on PlayStation and Nintendo. That's just mobile. It's just printing money. And you're telling me you need money? Come on, I don't buy that argument for a second. It's a baloney story. Don't even want to hear it. So it's not about money. This is about dipping your toe into going third party. That's what this is about. So if you don't see it, that's your problem, right? I keep hearing from all of these people who say, no, they're not going to put this, and they will. All those games you say are sacrosanct, they will go third party. You let them do this, it's going to be everything. That's the point. This is the test. It's the test to see what happens next.
This guy gets it.
That is the whole point. Okay, so in 5 years, when the next Gears comes out, day and date on PlayStation, don't complain, because it will.
Shit. Well, there's actually a little bit more to the story, which I'm going to actually.
Right. I hear it's 12 to 24 months. That's I don't care.
Well,
I don't care. It's gonna go day and date. That's what they're gonna do. It's gonna flow towards that direction. So the question becomes: it may not actually be the case, and I'll tell you why. And that's fine. If they come out and say, "Here's the reason why we're doing these games, and it will never happen on these games," tell me.
Exactly.
Where's that definitive statement?
Exactly.
There isn't one.
No.
And by the way, all this stuff has been coming out. No debunking.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. There's
no debunking.
Complete silence.
These are happening. You can just guess. These are happening.
Now, before I give you guys some information, whether or not you want to believe it or not, I'll tell you a little bit more information about well, not too much, but I'll give you the extent of the problem, because I might actually get some people who work at studios.
But I see no reason for these games here. Well, Aura is probably like they'd have to create a port on the console, right? But these other games, there's no reason to not expect them to show up on the other platforms. I just expect them. They will. That's why I put the little PlayStation logo here, is because look, if they're gonna go third party, they're gonna go third party. These games will show up.
The little PlayStation logo above the developer direct. I know Astro Cyborg is watching this like a whole fucking recording this.
But look, like it, and the only reason I do this is they have not told us one way or the other. Or we do not comment on rumors, except Aaron does it all the time whenever he thinks it's baloney. So where's the debunking? There isn't one. So I just have to assume it's true. So if it's happening.
Danny, this Danny Passion, you piece of shit. Thank you for $5, by the way. This conversation isn't worth my phone battery. I forgot when it was the last time my favorite game was a console exclusive. This guy's Kumbaya, my love. No, go hug Paris Lily. Go hug Paris Lily. Okay, you don't understand. This is greater. This is about competition.
So Mario Wonder, not a console exclusive. I guess that's not true. It is actually.
Oh shit!
Zelda,
you don't like Nintendo games, exclusive? Danny?
It
Not like
is,
PlayStation
actually.
games. Yeah, hold on.
Some
That means you
PlayStation
don't
games.
like
I haven't seen Last
PS5.
of Us Part 2 on PC. I haven't
Bro.
seen Ghost of Tsushima on PC, but
Hold
maybe those
on.
will come.
Yeah, actually, you're a good point, Danny. That means Danny has just outed himself as not playing any Nintendo games or PlayStation games because they're console exclusive for the most part, right? Oh, Danny.
I don't know, man.
Danny.
But anyway.
Well, there's a lot to unpack here, but before we do that, I'm conscious of the fact that I need to get. I don't even want to get Ace's view on this, but we'll get your view at the end before you.
But I mean,
Take a seat
I
here.
can give you more as to what happens later, right? And that's why I'm annoyed, right? It's not about the direct current impacts of one game going. It's the long-term impacts. Will
Absolutely.
the platform be relevant? Right? Will third parties say, hey, you know, the next generation, you only sell 15 to 20 million consoles because look, if I'm an average player in Europe, I don't buy an Xbox. I buy a PlayStation. I might buy a Nintendo. That's just a fact. That's just the way it is, right? What prompts me to go buy an Xbox if all your games are coming to my PlayStation? Nothing. So the short amount you were actually getting goes away, right? So now you say all these third parties who have to say, well, I have to port my game. It's going to cost me this much. But nobody's going to buy it there because there's no players there. Why would I bother doing it? And that's where the problem starts to occur. Fine, all the Xbox games are obviously going to be on Xbox. It's the third parties that'll dry up again because that's where we were with Xbox One. Every game would skip the Xbox and go to the other platforms, right? That's what's going to end up happening. And you have to worry about that if you go forward. I'll give you a whole other argument as to why they should do it. That's a whole different story. I'll get into that later if you want.
Yeah, we'll talk about that in a sec. I just want conscious of getting Detective Seeds. You wanted to chime in on this as well. Why wouldn't you? You've seen the rumor mill. What's your take on this, please?
Okay, so let me preface this by saying my big boy job, I work as a senior sales executive in the tech world and in the electrical engineering world. So my job is to capture profit on jobs. I drew this before. I don't know if you guys can see it. Probably not.
It's blurred, like you're holding a pornographic image or something.
I don't know if you guys have ever heard of this in the business world. It's called a triangle profit system.
Okay.
A triangle profit system could have different meanings, but here's what I think that Xbox is going to do. Game Pass, if you take the top of a triangle, Game Pass is at the very top. It's a constant. It's not going to go anywhere. Games that come out of Xbox Studios are going to go into Game Pass day one. No ifs, ands, or buts. That's never going to change. So regardless of where it goes, Xbox user base is going to have that constant there for them going to Game Pass, okay? You go down the triangle to leg one is going to be Game Pass and early access.
Okay.
We already have that, right? We see Game Pass games are offering an early access incentive to pay $30, $40 to play the game 3 to 4 days early. Right? They are capturing additional profit margin by tapping into that FOMO incentive, saying, hey, game's here. You want to play it a little bit early? You pay us $40, you can get into early. Look at Starfield. It did like what, 1.5 million early copies? Yeah. Multiply by that by 40, okay? Or whatever, or full price to be able to get in. Here's the part that a lot of people don't like. I know Hargit doesn't like. I know, guys, you don't like. It's understandable from a longtime consumer of Xbox. So I understand it. But do I think they're going to do this? Absolutely, from a corporate standpoint. It's called third-party large profit. This is probably going to get clipped and put all over the place. I'm going to use Blade as an example. All right. Okay. The reason I'm going to use Blade as an example, I'm going to put on my Xbox executive hat. I'm going to go over to Sony PlayStation and I'm going to say, hey, Marvel games over here do pretty well. Let's say Spider-Man, let's say Blade's going to sell 5 million copies over here. I'm going to take that game over there. They have no contractual options on it. I have them by the balls. I have PlayStation and I have Nintendo by the balls to negotiate whatever contract that I want because I'm going to do a digital only sale. No physical, digital only. I'm going to go over there and I'm going to say, hey, you can't put this on your subscription service. You can take 20% of the revenue. We are taking 80%. Okay. If 80% of $70 is $56. If you're at home on a calculator right now, type 56 times 5 million. That's $280 million on one game. That's one game. So if you look at the cost of games now, this is why they're going to do it. I don't think I disagree in the notion that they're going to do this to all games that Xbox owns. I can see them holding back some. They own, I'm probably going to screw this up, but I think they own above 70 studios. Is that right? Above 70 property.
40-ish, something like that now.
Is that with Activision Blizzard?
Yeah, that's with Activision. Before that, it was
28 or something.
Is it
Yeah, it was
28? Okay.
3, and then now it's like 30 something. 30.
So
30
if we're at 40, okay, this is just games that are going to come to console. If we can get, I mean, Phil said he wants 4 games, 1 per quarter, right? So let's say that you do 2 per year are going to stay on Xbox, and 2 of those you're going to take over to PlayStation and Nintendo, and you're going to capture that large margin of profit. To me, as an Xbox user, right, nothing changes for me. I'm still getting the game on Game Pass day one. I'm still getting that exclusive access day one. But what Microsoft is doing and taking that 80% is they're dangling a carrot. They're going to these different companies and dangling a carrot in front of their consumers. And they're saying, hey, you want to pay $70? That's fine. We'll take your money. Do you want to come join our ecosystem on your Samsung TV, on your laptop, on your mobile device, on your whatever? You don't own an Xbox? That's totally fine. We're focused on an ecosystem. You want to come play our games early and not pay $70? Pay us a Game Pass. You can come play our games anywhere. That's their slogan, right? Gamers play anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
This is what they're going to do. I mean, I'm not going to talk about the studios and some information that's been spread about, because then you get into, hey, just trust me, bro. And I don't leak stuff. I don't get into that, but I'm extremely confident, and this is the pathway that they're going to go. Now, I disagree in the sense that they're going to do it to every game. I don't think so.
Yeah.
But I would say a good majority of their property they're going to do this on, because they're going to take that money, they're going to reinvest it into cloud technology, R&D. Now, a lot of it's going to go up to shareholders, right? And you're going to pay those big dogs their money. Yeah. But this is what corporations do. This is what.
So I'm curious. You have a very logical, just non-biased take, which is great. Yeah. What makes you think it won't be all?
Because I think that they're going to offer a value proposition to studios.
The bare minimum to the Xbox. The bare minimum. Here you go.
Yeah, you're going to get
little fan fest, boys.
Again,
way better value proposition. But go ahead.
Again, I think that there's going to be a value proposition of not paying the full price. Could they take every game and put it over there? Absolutely. I'm happy to be wrong. I'm happy to say, hey, look, I was wrong on this. They did it to every single freaking game. Mm-hmm. But I don't think that they do that. And if they do, it's not going to be overnight. Because at the end of the day, the consumer base is millions. Those of us that are tuned into this is a fraction. If I went and I asked 5 to 10 of my buddies, hey, do you know the difference what first party, second party, and third party is? They don't fucking know. They just want to play the game. They don't care.
It's whoever advertised it, right? Yeah.
Correct. They don't care. So at the end of the day, these corporations want to drive that profit. So what better way to drive profit than to go over to your competitors, have them be essentially your storefront in a way, and you take 80% of the profit.
Yep. I don't know, Asa, if you want to chime in, then I'll give you a reason why it can be all of them. And
if you want to chime in on that, and then I'll read the super chats as well.
Sure. Why not? So I look at this whole thing, and I think you have to acknowledge that the industry is changing, and you have to acknowledge that Microsoft goals are not to compete in the console space, right? You can think about it. Right, as people that want a console war and all the rest of it, like you're shaking your head, Gaz, but you look at Xbox, and I want you to really think about what it is that you like about Xbox at some point. That's a question I have for all of you Xbox fans. Like, what is it about the brand and company that you actually like? Because that's kind of important in the conversation, I think. But you look at Xbox from like 2016, 2015, they did not want any part of the console war. They did not want to make console games. Nobody wants to make console games. Apple don't want to make console games. Amazon don't want to make a console. Like, none of the big companies care for that space. It is desolate, it is barren, and it is not sustainable. We're seeing that everywhere, right? This is why everybody wants to grow out of it. Microsoft, the equivalent, like the alternative, if you want them to push and fight and play console war, they will drop out of that space and not make anything. It's not what they are in it for. So to see them changing their space and trying to grow beyond it and going everywhere is not surprising at all. And I would say, as an Xbox fan, the Microsoft that we've got today versus the one that we had in 2016, I would not trade. Absolutely, the Microsoft that we've got today are giving me games that I want to play. The strategic decision to put them elsewhere had very little impact on me as a player. They're giving me Game Pass. They've got tons of studios. They've got 4 big games they're about to show, possibly more in a direct next week. This would not have happened when they were the console Microsoft, the console Xbox. So everything is better. As an Xbox fan, everything is better. And that's why I say stop and think about what it is that you like about Xbox, because all of those things they are maximizing on, they're doing brilliantly. I would also say if you're really concerned about this third-party ecosystem going forwards, do not underestimate the fact that they are going to bite and claw to have a platform their own. First party is a part of the equation, and they are going to do things with first party, and they're going to try and get money on third party, but they are going to fight and claw and make sure that we are invested in the Xbox ecosystem specifically. There is more value to them in us playing on Game Pass, on Xbox, on PC, than there is us buying a singular game on the PlayStation. Because they want all that third party, they want all the EA money, they want everything to be going through them. So this is just part of the strategy, and they will fight and claw and remain relevant. I don't share much concern. I think everything is really on an uptick and upwards trend. It's all very positive, and I think it's all pretty exciting.
Do you think PlayStation will follow suit?
Like I said, the console space at the moment is pretty barren and unsustainable. We're seeing the numbers for AAA games, and they're going to make their own adjustments. They're going to fight and claw and try and be a relevant platform as well, and they don't have the same options as Microsoft. They're a much different outfit, but they are going to shift and change in their own way. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, they need to go simultaneous PC. That needs to happen because their marketing is the problem. They market a lot for the PlayStation, right? But then do they really do that same marketing when it comes to PC? No, because they don't want to spend the money, right? They pay for the port, but then they just let it sort of sit there and let it market itself. That's not cool. That's not going to get you. So they need to do that. They need to do simultaneous release to get that bump on the PC side, right? But either way, here's the several things to think about, right? If they stay in this mode of we want to play console war, right? From a regulatory perspective, it becomes harder and harder for them to go after big publishers, right? Mm-hmm. If you take that away and just say, to hell with it, we're going to be third party. Every one of our games is coming everywhere. We don't care. We're going to put it everywhere. Everything gets back on the table. Okay.
Yeah.
So you can see a world where they say, we're buying Take-Two, we're buying Ubisoft, we're buying Embracer, we're buying Square Enix, we're buying Sega, right? Whoever else. Let's say they buy all that. Warner Brothers Discovery, they buy that, right? All that still puts them under 15% of the market. Okay. Up to 40%. You're not even being talked about as a monopoly, right? The problem they had was cloud, right? Which they said, we concede, we'll just give it to other people. We're not even doing cloud in Europe now. It's somebody else, right? We're not even touching that. Console, which they concede, we're just putting on everybody's console. We don't care. Now, the reason then your console becomes relevant is, dude, you got all those big games. Right? You're going to market all those big games. Like you were saying, Detective Seas, right? Like it's the marketing. Hogwarts was thought of as a PlayStation game, even though it was everywhere. Yeah. But everybody thought, oh, this is only on PlayStation, right? It's like, no, it's on Xbox. It's also coming to Switch, right? But nobody thought about that because they thought the marketing, it's a PlayStation game. Suddenly, if every Warner game is marketed only by Xbox, guess where you think that game is? On Xbox. Even though it might be everywhere. They put it everywhere. They don't care. They're not going to stop it. They'll be everywhere, right? Take GTA. They buy Take-Two. GTA marketing automatically now, Xbox, right? So this is the world they can go in. The other thing is console is flatlined and starting to diminish. That's just a reality, right? And at some point, it's going to become mobile and PC.
Now,
the way it is.
Question,
right?
Hasn't PS5, aren't they surpassing PS4 sales right now?
It's the peak. So. When does it hit its peak, right? The peak we've had was 155 at PS2. We've never reached it again.
What are we at right now, PS5?
50.
Okay.
Right? That's 1/3 of where it was at PS2. We've never reached it. PS4 was insanely successful and stopped at 117. Switch is insanely successful and it's at 130. Right? It's just, we've hit the peak. We're not going to go beyond that, right? Because kids are moving the other direction. They're going to mobile and PC. That's just a fact, right? Maybe some of them will go to console, but the console kind of stuck with our generations. We kind of grew up with them, so we just keep playing on them, right? So that's going to kind of flatline. They've already saw that, right? Like Microsoft already saw that. That's why they're shifting to mobile, and they shifted to PC. That's where the gamers are, right? So they've already done that. They've already set the stage. They're happy to go there and say, we don't care. We'll put the PC games on Steam and our store and on Game Pass. Don't care, right? Mobile, they're going to go on iOS and Android, and they're going to have their store. They'll put it in the Google store. They'll put it in the PlayStation, the Apple Play Store, whatever, Apple App Store. They don't care, right? They're going to put their games everywhere there. I think that's the direction. I think that's where they're going to go. This is just a bitter pill to swallow, but if it really does mean that they're going to go buy all that stuff, it becomes irrelevant, because then your console just gets associated with all these games. They're going to market COD. They're going to market, Diablo. They're going to market Grand Theft Auto. They're going to, whatever you want, right? The next Prince of Persia, the next Assassin's Creed. If they just buy those, they have it, right? If you want to get Crystal Dynamics and Eidos, buy Embracer. You got all of those studios. And again, as long as
optic of all this is that enables them to consolidate a little bit more, and just like, okay,
But it makes it so that it's a compelling platform at that point, right? Because Game Pass then becomes very compelling. You can't say, okay, I pay that much money and I get all of this stuff. That just becomes ridiculously compelling.
But Game Pass is compelling no matter if it's not on an Xbox.
It's stalled. It's stalled, right? So now if you say, hey, I want to go beyond that, more content. Now, ABK helps. It does.
Right. So if you, at some point though, if you look at, this is just my thought on in the market transparency as a whole, you look at Netflix and you look at some of these other subscription services, at some point there's going to be a stall point. At some point there's a threshold. And at some point you have to figure out creative ways to pivot while maintaining that. That's why I said, like,
that's what Sony's doing right now.
I refer back to this triangle profit system because you're consistently hitting.
He's part of the Illuminati. That's why.
Yeah, right. Jeez, now we're gonna get fucking banned. You're consistently hitting various profit points around. So Game Pass, when that profit point stalls out at whatever the user base is, let's say, I'm just gonna throw out numbers, so don't say I'm you're way off. Let's say at 25 million, right? You're going to generate additional profit by going down to that right side and saying, hey, let's pick up some more profit points by offering early access, and they pay 30, 40 bucks. Yeah. That's 30, 40 bucks that we're going to get. But you also have to have an additional profit point by going to third party. I don't look at, and I'm probably going to get roasted for this shit, I don't look at PlayStation and Nintendo as competitors for Xbox. I
like Phil Spencer right now.
I just don't. And the reason I don't is whenever I look at the overall company value, I look at Google and Apple as their primary.
Definitely sound like Phil Spencer right now.
And it's because I'm corporate.
Amazon,
I work in that corporate world where I'm looking at figures, because in the world that I work in, there are only 4 companies. I really don't want to. There's only a handful of companies that you can buy stuff from. We're one of them. And when you look at Xbox, there's only a handful of places that you can get hardware from to be able to play video games on. Xbox is one of them. So why would you limit yourself to consoles? That Phil Spencer's already said, we're out of the console space. Like, not entirely, but that's not our focus, right? Our focus is the ecosystem. We want an ecosystem because we can draw in more people.
If you buy more, you have more content. That ecosystem becomes more compelling.
Talk, everything you just, actually, both of you, gents, Asa and Detective, you made great points that not justified, but made sense financially, which is why they're doing this. And yet, there's a fundamental problem with all of it, which I will get into. But our super chats, just let me read these as well, and we'll weave that into the conversation. Rambling Entertain, the PC mother. He says console wars are over and PC has won. Xbox became third party the day they started day and day on Steam instead of developing their own storefront on PC. Kind of actually agreed there to a certain degree. I don't think it was over. I never was a fan of Xbox games coming to PC. I never was. I said that on my first appearance on RDX. I like PlayStation's approach more, and that was a horrible time for me. A shab is inevitable with the £5 because Huggy Podgy is right. Of course he is. The Danny Fashion official then says, Huggy, you are wrong again, same as you were with cloud gaming. Also, I've been on PC Gamer since December 2022. You guys forgot the case by case basis, so you haven't played Nintendo games or PlayStation games, apart from some of them that are on PC. Danny,
wait. So hold on. This case by case basis is way blown out of what it original context was, right? When Phil talked about that was at the round table with Bethesda. He said, "I'm going. This is about great exclusive games coming to you on platforms where Game Pass exists. For legacy titles, it will be on a game by game basis.
Yeah.
So if Elder Scrolls Skyrim is already on PlayStation and we do a remaster like they did with the Anniversary Edition, we'll let that go to PlayStation. That's a case by case basis. That does not mean every new game. That means legacy titles that have an existence already on those platforms. We're not going to take it away, and we'll do a case by case. If Elder Scrolls 6, there's a case by case of saying, I think it'll stay exclusive. I don't think that's fair game. Yeah, that's fair game because it has a legacy, right? Yeah. Fair game. This is a brand new title. There's no reason. Hi-Fi Rush is brand new.
Yeah.
But he leaves it open. That's corporate speak.
Yeah, he leaves it open. Of course he does. He's got silver tongue. I've been like, happy birthday, Phil, by the way. You saw my message to you. Don't fucking put this game on PlayStation. Faisal with the £5 super chat. Shout out to you, Faisal, bro. The Switch might get a Hi-Fi Rush if the 10 years is active and COD is not ready to release on Switch for the required work it needs and time. Well,
no, it's going to come to Switch 2 or whatever, the Switch Pro, whatever they're calling it. It's going to come to that, and it's going to be able to run.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And COD. Yeah, we'll definitely run on that. BT Maverick 707 with a $20. Shout out to you, man. He goes, Huggy is right as well. It's the worst. This is the point. It's the worst time to start putting your games on other platforms when Call of Duty Diablo is going to drop into Game Pass eventually this year, and that's going to drive a huge boost towards casuals to Xbox. And I'll tell you why.
Not to mention these games are coming. We have so many new games. Like, whatever.
Okay, no, well, I'll quickly. Maverick's a great point on that. The timing of this is you did this deal. You didn't even fucking breathe. And then we didn't even get to flex. You need to fucking flex a little bit. You bought this thing. Have we seen what COD would do on Game Pass? Have you seen? It's like, what the fuck? It's like Arnold Schwarzenegger putting his steroids into his muscles, and he's like, oh, and then he's like, you know what? I'm not gonna go to the gym today. I'm just gonna have a wank. It's just like that's just like that. This is so lame. Shout out to the Dodge Knight. I haven't seen you in a while. And a lot of people are saying the same thing. I like Seed's take. Sounds very plausible and, of course, sensible, Detective Seeds.
I try.
No, you really, I think, tackled that very well. Capone 5150 with a $2 super chat. PC comes, all of you. Come home, boys. I was PC welcomes all of you. I was PC last gen.
I didn't think that's what that chat said.
Yeah, I know. I read it wrong. PC. Oh shit. Going back to PC. Huggy's been whispering in my ears, by the way, chat. He's like, come to PC, come. And Zorka, the piece of shit. Zorka's 70. He doesn't make any. If I see one more Phil, have you seen his thumbnails? It's all Phil Spencer, but the prick just plays on PC. He plays World of Warcraft. Put Gabe Newell on your thumbnails, Zorka.
Dude,
you piece of.
PC is running Windows. Windows is Microsoft. It is Xbox.
Shut the.
I'm sorry, but you have to accept reality.
No, that's
you have to accept reality.
Replica, thank you for being a member for 8 months. He goes, great take from Seeds. Yes, it was actually a really good take. It's the best take I've heard, actually, as well as Ace's point on this. Still don't disagree. Vehemently disagree. Nothing has changed.
Can I ask a question, Gaz?
Yes.
I know that you went around to us, so I want to ask you, because I don't think we heard your take. Yep. When you disagree, what is it? What aspect is it that you're vehemently against that would affect you in that way?
I'll explain that just when I've read these super chats. I'll explain why I'm against it. No, it's all good. It's all good. Georgie with a $5 super chat. Except FTC, CMA have passed laws to give them power. You're assuming they'll be able to buy these companies. Go ahead and devalue the ecosystem. Phil lied.
What the
I
heck
don't
is he
understand
talking
that.
about?
I don't know what that means. Because except the FTC and CMA have passed laws.
First,
to give them
FTC has
power.
zero power to pass laws. Zero power to pass laws. Laws are passed by Congress, and Congress has not passed any law.
They
that-
also,
regulatory
just to be
party.
clear, struggle to tie their own shoelaces. But carry on.
Yeah, and the FTC is regulated by the other branch, the judicial branch, and the judicial branch has been slapping the FTC left and right. So
Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about there. CMA they did just make some changes, and maybe Gaz, you can kind of go over that, right? You probably know it more than I do.
We saw in the midst of it. We're not going to talk about the CMA's powers being enhanced, but yeah, it's like, and they're actually kind of flexing their muscles a little bit as well after the boon they got from this deal. Phase 23, Brooklyn, New York, with a $20 super chat. Shout out to you, man. Because Hagi Chani, between PlayStation and Nintendo, they have sold 274 million. That's not a small number. Xbox stalled in sales. That's why
Wow,
they
Face.
pivoted.
Seriously, you're saying that nobody who bought a PlayStation bought a Nintendo? Really? They're additive. They're not combined. Look, you don't take my word for it. Take Jim Ryan and Phil Spencer's word for it. Take every analyst who looks at the console space. Go take a look at what they say. All right? I'm not the one who's saying these things. They're saying it's stalling. Jim Ryan said you ain't enough.
Jim Ryan did say that. He says it's
Just
a shame
deal with it. It is what it is, bud.
Hashtag deal with it, face. Xbox stalled in console sales. That's why they pivoted by putting their games everywhere, including PlayStation and Nintendo. That's what he's saying. Okay. There's an element of that, I agree. Miguel Ivers, shout out to you with a €5 super chat. One point everyone is missing. 34 studios working on 1 to 3 games in development for 3 to 6 years equals 34. Take away 68 plus first 34.68 plus first party exclusive games over the next 7-8 years. What does that mean?
I don't even know what just happened.
I don't even know what happened there as well. I apologize, Miguel. Math is not my strong suit.
I think he's
but
just
that's
saying
okay.
that there's a whole bunch of first party games coming from Xbox. Yes, that's true. But understand that ABK up to now has been said to be fully independent as far as publishing everywhere. That's kind of what Phil's thing is. They're going to put everything everywhere.
His later super chat does add. He says no platform needs that many exclusives.
Well,
come on now.
You need them to. You need if you look at the player base for Activision alone, Call of Duty, their biggest player base, I would say, is PlayStation or
I believe.
PC.
Well, it's mobile, but yeah, you're right. PlayStation.
Right. Oh yeah. I mean mobile. So
line.
if you took that away, your shareholders would probably each have a stroke and then fire multiple people because you're losing money at that point.
Yeah. Did you get the one from Game on P?
So I was going to say, the 707 of you, smash the like button. I'm already seeing 77 likes. That might be a bit flaw on my end. Smash the like button. What are you doing? We're getting into the memes. And Danny Passion Official says, no, Huggy, I don't play Nintendo games. That's why you're shit.
That's your problem. Guys, did you get the one from Game on P? Remember, chat?
Sorry. Let me see. Sorry. Sometimes I miss them. I don't know why. From who? Oh, Game on P. Sorry, I don't know why I missed that. I didn't. Oh, I have actually pasted at the end. Wow, all this tense chat tonight in the word of Ringo Starr. Peace and love. Peace and love. No, we're here for war, bruv. Have I war? We're here for war, Brad. Come on, man. All right. We're caught up with the super chats. Now, Detective C's asked me, what is it that I'm against about this strategy? All you guys have said to me is, well, Microsoft gets to make more money. I'll tell you what the reality of this is Microsoft is waving the white flag because they failed. They failed to make Xbox, the platform, the console, a viable competitor in this space. And when Phil Spencer came over last year, what did he say? We lost. The wording he used was, we lost the worst generation to lose, which was the Xbox One generation. So there's a concession there as well. We have lost the console war. So we still, despite the express statement coming out of this guy's mouth, we said, well, maybe perhaps he's just loosening his lips a little bit because he's trying to get this deal through regulators, right? The Xbox brand has now been relegated, the console space, and it is the console that we felt was the nucleus behind this brand. Is Microsoft would not be doing this if they fucking launched the thing properly with actual exclusives. Let's take a whole round approach of why this has happened. Microsoft launched this console with the power narrative. Phil Spencer, you saw in the email, celebrating internally. Yeah, we've done really well. We see the PlayStation 5 specs. We're going to be really well here. We're going to be fucking doing well on power. They didn't even realize they're going to get fucked. Then the console launches. They have no exclusive, not a single one. Halo gets delayed, then comes out and gets rebuked because the fucking studios fucked it up. And then 2022 happens. And in 2022, they fucking failure. And Phil Spencer comes out on stage and says, it was a really bad year. It was a terrible year. Paris Lily's like, yeah, no, it's a little bit shit. No. And he goes, shut the fuck up, Paris. Shut up, Paris. It was shit. It was a shit year. Yeah, okay, fine. So now they go ahead, and we Xbox fans, because we know PlayStation doesn't Xbox doesn't do the marketing. We Xbox fans have been rallying behind Xbox to be a viable competitor in this space, and Microsoft is actually removing itself as a competitor in this space. Is Sony going to be less or more relaxed that Xbox games become third party? Yes or no? They're going to be more relaxed. They've got the fucking whole part of the pie now. Now Xbox's games, Microsoft's identity, the console identity has been diluted to shit. Now you are Sega, and that's what it is. So we Xbox fans rally behind Xbox because we wanted something to keep PlayStation hot on their toes, and that's gone.
Wait a minute.
So go ahead, sorry.
I want to just really quickly, because that comes back to my question that I asked you earlier, and I'm very curious about Hargy's take on this as well, but I'm going to do you first, Gaz, because you just kind of said that the reason that you like Xbox is more to do with competition with PlayStation, but it can't really be. You must have a reason for liking Xbox. At the core of it, what is it about the brand, about Microsoft or Xbox, or that experience that you actually care about?
I can answer that, but if you can't, then that's
my view principally has always been. My view has always been principally about the competition. Obviously, it's a mix of things. It's because of what Xbox did and presented to me as an Xbox gamer. It leveraged online like the PlayStation didn't do. It brought gaming forward. As much as PlayStation guys hate to admit it, it really did. PlayStation 3 was a generation behind on online. The PlayStation 4, by its very design, the reason why the PlayStation 4 is successful, because of 360. Everything they designed, easy to develop for developers. They fixed their online space. They pivoted that way to make it much more open. Why? Because the 360 enabled. They learned those lessons from that, and now. And this is the thing that bothers me. With Xbox out of the picture, then who's going to be who's going to be the competitor in this space? Nintendo operates in its own lane. PlayStation is going to be dominating. Which it looks like
that may change, but yeah.
Well, if it changes, that's great.
So as far as your answer,
it's cool, though. I want to reframe for you, Hargy. I'm going to change it slightly for you because Gaz was like, he likes them because he liked the 360, which is.
It absolutely has kept them on their toes. There's no reason why Jim Ryan is flying around.
No, that's not the reason I
so you follow them for their competition. But Hargy, yours specifically, so your the stuff that you were saying on Boomstick's show, you were talking about staying loyal to them through the Xbox One generation. So it's kind of like, it's the same question, but why? Why do you stay loyal to them?
So look, the reason I'm on Xbox is because the games they had gave you a different experience, right? It went to the online co-op, right? So it started with Halo, which out of nowhere, I didn't know what the hell Halo was. I put the disc in and I'm like, what is this? And it just took over. It was so good, right? And that's what it was. It was the co-op experience campaign with my friends. You know, first it was couch, but then it became online. And that is a tradition they've kept, right? And it's that, you know, the Dude Bro Shooter box. The reason it is that box is because it created that, like you were saying, the online, Gaz. That's what it did. It created that online community. Why did multiplayer games fail on PlayStation? Because their players don't care about it, right? You're either a casual, in which case you care about Call of Duty and FIFA and Madden and, you know, Apex and like the free-to-plays. Or you play the PlayStation exclusives, which are the sad dad walking simulators. When they try to go multiplayer, it just doesn't work, right? It works on the Xbox side. 30 million people played Sea of Thieves. You think that
What about
happens on
Call-
PlayStation?
But what about
Well,
Call of
clearly
Duty
not
on
enough.
PlayStation?
because they're breaking games.
Can I? Like,
Call
just,
of Duty took
let
off
me go
on
after Huggy.
Xbox, right? And then again, casual players, the casual players on PlayStation, that's what they play, right? They play the casual games, right? Why don't their multiplayers take off? Why didn't factions take off? It didn't, right? Why? Where is it? They couldn't even make another one. That's how bad it is. That they just don't have that DNA in their players. That's just the way. So to me, what Xbox represents is that community. It's a community-based box, right? I play with my friends. That's the way it is. That's what I like about the ecosystem. So to me, Asa, that's the thing. I love the whole system is designed around friends. It's designed around me playing with my friends, right? It's an ecosystem
perfect,
built
though.
around that.
Like, both of
there's a
you,
personal
essentially,
element
if you boil it down, both of you have essentially the same answer. You love Microsoft's approach to games and gaming, their community focus, and the kind of experiences that they deliver. So whenever you're thinking and talking about and the competition, but when you're looking at the strategy going forwards and you're looking at what you actually like about Microsoft, does it diminish any of that? That's a really key question. If you're going to be like worrying,
so it comes down to where do you get those other games, right? So Persona, for instance, was not on Xbox forever. Why? Because, well, they didn't have a point in releasing it on a small console base when they didn't expect anybody to play it, right? The Game Pass possibility allowed them to bring over those games because Microsoft paid to port them, right? So now you have those games here. Will they stay? Will the next Persona come to Xbox if the user base isn't there, right? That's a problem you have to run into, right? This generation, I think they'll get to about 35-ish million, 40 million, because we're hearing 2026, this generation ends, right? For Xbox. So they're going to slow down a bit. I think that's kind of where they'll end. That's an okay amount. It's not bad. But I'll put it this way. N64 had 35 million, and it was a massive fail.
Oh, share my battery.
It's a massive fail, right? According to how Nintendo took it, it was a massive fail, right? So that's not a great place to be now, decades later. The N64 was in the mid-90s, right? So decades later, we're now seeing that that's the end result of what the Xbox Series consoles will do. What will the next console do? So this is why I think the answer really is, this opens the lane for Microsoft to go say, we're third party. We also have a platform, just like Windows, right? You can, put it on any PC you want. We don't care. We also have Surface. If you want to buy a Surface, no problem. If you don't want to buy it, you want to buy an HP, you want to buy a Dell, no, we don't care. Build your own machine, no problem. Go ahead, right? That's how they do it, right? And they say, take our stuff, put it wherever you want. You want to run Office on Mac, go ahead, do it. We don't care, fine. We'll put it there too. But it allows them to buy a whole bunch of other content, and that's where they can make a compelling argument.
I don't care about them onward purchases.
Just like
You're
real
diluting
quick.
the competition point is really the fundamental point.
No. As long as they have a console with enough content, then the console will sustain itself. Okay, that's the key, though. They have to do that next pivot and say, okay, cool, we're third party, but we're a third party with tons of games that are first party on our platform that are going to be in Game Pass. You want to pay that? It's probably going to go up to $20. Yeah. Right? You pay for Game Pass on our platform, and you get all this stuff day and date right here, right? And we're not, we're talking tons of industry standard games that are everywhere. Fine, but a lot of them will be in Game Pass day and date, right? So then they can make that claim, and then that becomes the reason to have an Xbox. You may still have the other platforms, but you'll say, well, the value is over here, so I'm just going to be on this box, right? So if they can get to 50, 60, 70, 80 million consoles sold, that gives enough competition. It also gives a target. The soul
of the industry is gone completely diluted there. So before I make my point, you wanted to say something.
I think that's Microsoft's future. I think they want to do that because, look, the other place is mobile. It's iOS and Android, and they're not a player there. So they're happy to put their stuff on those competing platforms.
We're not saying they're not doing that. We're all of us are saying actually Xbox is going to do this, but whether it makes sense.
Do you not see the writing on the wall? Do you think it's not going to happen?
No one is saying that. Everyone in this panel is actually in agreement here. I don't want to be in agreement here, but I'm for other.
I'm with you. I would rather give it some time, right? You're having this year of awesome exclusives. Could we just at least see what that does? But
before do make my point. You were intending on saying something.
Yeah, just really, really quickly on what Hagi was saying, because you were saying about the potential to lose third party, like potentially not be an appetizing environment for a third party. But what I was saying earlier, when we were talking about whether it's like the whole slate or what Microsoft are doing with their third party publishing potential going forwards, I said earlier that they are absolutely going to fight and claw to remain a relevant platform for the sake of that third party content. And I believe that sincerely, and I don't see any world where they literally stick everything day and date on every other platform without incentivizing you to to play on Xbox, whatever Xbox looks like, whether it's a console, whether it's like Game Pass, whether it's the whole shebang. Xbox will remain a massively relevant platform, and third parties will want to go there because it will be huge. Is my opinion on how this is going to go forwards, rather than it's not an argument with you. It's more of I see what you're saying. I'm not personally concerned that will be a problem in the future, as it were. But Gaz, you want to go for it? Competition.
Historically, PlayStation and Xbox have been a loggerheads, despite the fact that PlayStation has had a great time minus the 360 gen. But the 360 gen, when Xbox was actually being a viable competitor, showed you why it was so fundamentally important to have a competitor that has sharpened its teeth and has executed its plan well. Xbox to date hasn't. You say that, Gaz, you're looking at the 360 gen as the reason why you want them to stay exclusive, but why not? Because the 360 gen was the time when the Xbox actually executed the plan properly, because it had front-loaded software from the start. It came a year ahead of everything, had hardware that was compelling enough at the time to pull developers to invite them to it. At the time, if you remember the discourse around Xbox, this console, they cut the cord very prematurely for the Xbox to get in early, but that plan was a masterclass because it pulled people away from PlayStation. Right? Well, I'll get into that in a bit. But the discourse at the time amongst pundits, among the industry, was like, this Microsoft is trying it here, but there's still PlayStation. And PlayStation, Ken Kutaragi says, we're still black belt. And guess what happens? Xbox surprises them, and we get one of the most incredible generations that saw the 360 gen, saw the competition height to the best degree, that saw the greatest strides, that made PlayStation take notes and develop the PlayStation 4. Xbox then fucked it up. So,
well, and on top of that, Gaz, it prompted them to go make games, right? The PS3 started their ridiculous run of awesome banger games, right? Like, you had your Uncharted, your Last of Us, right? All that stuff started then, right? And then it rolled into the PS4. And it just kept going.
Think about what happened. The competition was so crazy that the PS3 didn't even have enough RAM for party chat. Party chat became a thing. Achievements became a thing. They had to get the trophy system. The PlayStation Now was born as a result of Microsoft putting this pressure. They birthed this thing because of the competition in this space. And then they had to, like Hallgate say, rely on the software. They had no choice. And it was only at the tail end of that generation that PlayStation doubled down on its first party output to deliver and then overtake the 360. For me, the 360 won that generation. You may say the sales were higher, but considering the place of Microsoft and Xbox in the space where it was and where it went, despite Red Ring of Death.
Mindshare-wise, you're 100% right.
Yeah,
Mindshare-wise, it was 360.
Mindshare, it was crazy. And for them to fucking throw it down the drain.
Even though I'll even add this, the Wii was in that generation, right? Yeah. The Wii outsold both of them. But realistically, the mind share shifted to 360. It was everyone. It was everyone took notice, including Europe. So the reason why I've been clamoring Xbox to do well is been waiting for it to do well from the Xbox One generation. And the Series X represents, or this generation so far, mixed successes represents a failure to do that so far, with some big moves like the ABK one to really throw the hornet's nest is there. Sony is now feeling the pressure as a result of this thing. So, but we haven't even get to see the results. We don't even get to see that pressure. We don't even get to see ABK being on Game Pass before this discourse has even begun. Like, this is the crazy part, and I don't think people realize how widespread it is. And maybe they delay it. Maybe, Gaz, with all of this, they take it in and say they delay that and say, let's give it a chance. Let's wait a year or two.
And now let me tell you what is actually happening internally. And I've heard this from multiple sources. I'll be that guy, but it's coming from, I wish I could say it. The leadership at Microsoft are split on this. You say it makes no sense, but the leadership ahead of
Cloveril said that, right? Cloveril had the same thing. He's like the two sides just aren't communicating with you. I don't know if you saw his multi-paragraph thing. It was really good.
Ago. Maybe longer than that.
Yeah.
There's a bitter freaking split between the leadership about how to do it. And that makes that doesn't.
And that's a Phil Spencer problem, right? It's up to Phil to make a final. This is what we're doing.
Yeah, but this is the thing. The communication going forward is going to be fundamentally important. When Blade was out, did you see what the fucking look at the reactions for Blade and for the mass casuals? You saw the reaction videos. It was these guys are like, oh, Blade. Wait a minute, Bethesda isn't that Xbox? Like these people finally uttered the word Xbox out of their mouths, something they didn't even bother doing because it was so like it wasn't even a thing in their mouths for the mass market. So finally, Xbox gets this chance to beat its chest. Is starting to get its identity. With ABK, it cements itself. Like it didn't even need to do all this. It doesn't need to do third party. It doesn't need to do that. What we wanted to see as an Xbox fan is really just get Xbox to have its identity back. Do something strong. This is a power play. And Xbox is really just waving the white flag if it does this. And I'm hearing it's what if there's a working version of Hellblade 2 and people that want it on PlayStation? How do Xbox people feel about that? Tell me about that.
I'd be very surprised they don't already have one, to be honest.
Well,
I'd be very surprised if they don't have that. I'd be very surprised if they don't have an Avowed on PlayStation. I mean, indies probably like. Look, I think they've already kind of half done this. They're just waiting to pull the trigger. And I don't know when they pull the trigger. But, guys, I think this is going to happen eventually. But I would rather take your way and say, you know what? Let's at least cook for the next couple of years. You have so many games coming out. Let's see what it does to the platform. Does it increase the mind share of Xbox?
At least 2 years.
Let me pose a pushback here. And the reason I want to pose this is because of the infrastructure of cloud technology right now. If you think about the ecosystem as a whole of Game Pass, talking about putting on TVs, talking about putting on tablets, things like that, and streaming it from the cloud, right? There is no download. I think we can all agree we aren't there yet from an infrastructure standpoint to be able to do that.
And we may never be there, but yeah.
We may never. So I understand the concept of, hey, why don't we give it a try and just see what happens? But what if they are taking advantage of this time where the infrastructure is not there and they want to generate a profitable business from some of the assets that they have currently purchased?
I mean, they're already profitable, right? But,
to an extent.
Generate further, right?
Okay, to an extent. So, but if they want to be able to generate a profitable business long term, they take advantage of going to third party. Not completely, but take advantage of some of these games going to third party. And then if technology catches up, right, and they see, hey, we can pull this back as a business model and not put additional games on there because cloud technology has now caught up to the point that streaming it is a viable option for consumers like us. I don't want to play a shooter on my TV and have lag. I'm sorry, I don't. I want to be able to have a smooth 60 FPS experience to where I don't get pissed off and want to throw my controller out the pond. That's just where I am as a gamer, and I think most people are.
Yeah, look, that's going to change over time. Like, so cloud is an interesting interim technology, but then it's going to change to a different model because your TV's processor can run some of it locally. So in 10 years, your TV will supplement. So the parts where you have lag will just be running local native on your TV. The rest of it can be streamed over, right? So that's kind of how that'll work. It'll hybridize it, which will take away the headache, right? It'll take away that headache of cloud latency because the processing will just be there. It's just,
I understand, but in the corporate world, and I know that Gaz hates me because I sound like Phil Spencer, in the corporate world, waiting and seeing and trying to see if it works, that leads to loss of profit. That leads to closures of studios.
Yeah, no, I get that. Yeah,
you have to be able to do that.
But they're profitable. They're already profitable.
I mean, if they were profitable enough, they wouldn't be doing this.
Okay, let me ask you this: is Xbox profitable? Is Xbox Game Studios profitable, or are you tying them under Microsoft?
No, Xbox. And we got that from FTC leaks. because they unfortunately let it go. And so we saw that they were more profitable than PlayStation.
Understood. So how long can they keep that profitability scale, taking on all of these new assets and all of these new liabilities and things, if they cap out at a certain point in their subscription? Can they keep that profitability?
The subscription's irrelevant to ABK, though, because King drives in so much profit on its own that it can drive most of the revenue need for their ABK.
I'll tell you
what. You got to understand, mobile for them generates so much money, right? That they are okay with just that. On top of getting PC revenue with World of Warcraft.
It's not a insignificant amount.
$70 billion is just an asset transfer. It's revenue versus cost, right? That's what they have to worry about, right? It's net operating income. That's what they need to worry about. Bottom line, right? And their net operating income is not going to get lower. It's going to get much higher with it.
Is. Yeah. Well, and you also across the board, if you think about it, because games cost way more money now to make. I mean, Grand Theft Auto 6, geez, I'd hate to see how much that game costs to make. So they have to
billions,
be able,
right? They've already said it. It's like billions.
However much it is. So they have to be able to follow those data points and have analysts to see, hey, if we wait, and I'm sure they've already done this. Obviously, they've already looked at this stuff. If we wait 2 years and not do this, where does that put us in a profitability standpoint? Because it's a risk. It's a risk versus reward. If I stutter sometimes, it's because I got a TBI from getting exploded. So, but it's a risk versus reward situation. So if they take too long.
I get that. The strategy demands that you do look forward facing, and if you're stalling for a while, you may miss an opportune time to be forward. And if all of us are in unison saying that the industry ultimately, and I'll say this, and I've said this before, and let's be real, PlayStation will eventually, this is why I asked Ace the question, PlayStation will, I think, eventually be following down the same route. They will squeeze as much as they can from this, nuclear console model until they can pivot the other way out. But the problem for me is Microsoft has never really actually put up a fight, and now everything is there. Everything is on the table. You've got your software. The reason why I'm such a proponent of this hardware, because this is what. Look, for me, Xbox is fucked. I've said it so many times. This generation Xbox is fucked up tremendously. The reason why I'm such a proponent of the 2027 early release plan for the console, you're like, oh, now you're looking to 2027, guys. No, I'm not. There's still great strides to be here, but I would like Xbox to say, well, I'd like them to make a decision on whether or not where they're going with this, and stick with, let's just try one more shot. 2027, we release this console. We undercut our competitors in this space, and we front load this with software, and we support Xbox. Look, Xbox is like on PC mobile anyway, but we won't bring it to other platforms. We will just focus solely on the brand. I want the Xbox name to be synonymous in the space, and that will absolutely enhance competition in this space more than Xbox is everywhere. There's this giant monolith that can now acquire other studios because as a result of it being a charitable organization and being these release games
not
everywhere.
Charity, right?
No, but yeah, it will be a marketing beat because Xbox is going to be known for it. Everyone's going to go to Xbox Game Pass because Xbox, even though, why is PlayStation guys paying $70 for every game? This is the thing. You're removing. You really are removing competition. Why wouldn't you want this?
I don't
understand that point.
I don't think completely. And here's what I say. I agree with you 100% that competition is great. It breeds innovation. It breeds new research and development. It breeds those things. But I do think that Xbox, and I take it as like a battlefield strategy, if our enemies are so front-loaded on one side, there's nothing that says, hey, the console war ends in 2025. That's the deadline. Whoever wins the race, that's where the race ends. I think with a good strategy that Xbox, PlayStation, and Nintendo can continue to run their races, it's just going to look different. And I think that the competition, in my opinion, is still going to be there. And their adjustment to what's happening in the market and the market trends changing and how buyers are buying and how different things are taking place analytically, I do think that they are still competing. It may not look the way that Xbox has always looked in the competition world, but they are still competing. And I think that that's good. I think that that is still going to push across the board, Xbox, PlayStation. I mean, Nintendo does their own shit anyways, but I think it's still going to breed innovation because I don't think that Microsoft is going to stop innovating. I don't think they're going to stop putting out hardware for people to purchase. Is it going to look at the scale that maybe we grew up on and maybe that we saw develop and acquire those close relationships like you were talking about? It may not look like that, but if it allows them to produce a good amount of content, it allows them to be profitable, it allows them to invest into research and development, and they're just changing their tactics in order to close in on the pie and then continue to run that race. There is no end date on this race. There's no end date. It's constant innovation and technology. And
but
for that, I support it.
less. The incentive to. Sorry.
Just really quickly, when you talk about like Microsoft finally being in a position to win this little competition, it's true they've invested billions, like loads and loads of money. They could use that money and win the console war and get like a cardboard trophy in an event that they don't care about, because that's the console war within the gaming ecosystem.
That's the problem. The future isn't there.
Yeah.
There's no winning table.
So, and again, as much as it's annoying to me,
the winning table is this: the pressure. If Microsoft does this, and they release their console in 2027, are they incentivized to really go hard on that console? Yes or no, or less so?
I think yes.
We know the Microsoft. We've seen the Microsoft
they'll
run
make
through
it
multiple generations. You're telling me that they're going to really go hard?
I think they'll
lane A. You have option A. We keep our games on our platform, not on PlayStation, and we're going to release a console in 2027, and we're going a year ahead of our competition. What do? We can't fuck up this time. The hardware has to be great. The software has to be great. And everything has to be correct. Or lane B, we're going to get revenue anyway. It's because we're going to release games on PlayStation, we're going to release games on Nintendo, and we'll have a bit of hardware there as well to have a little marketing beat. Understand?
I've got several things for this guy. So first, PlayStation is the one that's actually having issues right now, right? Financially, they're having issues.
Clearly.
Microsoft doesn't have a financial issue because they're freaking Microsoft, okay? They're the most valued
Xbox
company.
Is still, it's still a business. Let's not conflict.
But they still make billions of profit, and that's not really their headache. The problem is PlayStation decides to make games that cost $300 million that you can't easily get the money back. That's a problem, okay? And that's not a problem that's like brand new. We knew this when Sean Layden said it freaking years ago, that their model is going to be unsustainable. We already know that, right? So they have to pivot and do something different. They were trying to do that with games as a service. It's not working, right? So what do they do next? So they're the ones who have to go figure out what the hell they're going to do in the market, right? So that is a big issue that they have to go resolve, right? On the flip side, you're saying that like there'll be no competition because Xbox will have no
competition. I'm thinking less of an incentive to be competitive. And Xbox showed you with the Series X and S that they fucked up anyway.
Let's say they continue this path and they are exclusive only. How likely is it that they're going to go buy more stuff? They can spend the money. The question is, will it get approved, right? If you just say, look,
we're onto the acquisition
don't care.
Trend. Like, fuck acquisitions for now. Like, that's a speculative, crazy.
If you want Game Pass to grow, you have to have games in the service, right?
And how many fucking studios do they have?
What was that?
Yeah, they have games to grow. Yeah, but they have more than enough.
They need to cater to every. How many Japanese games are in there? Right, they have some with Sega. They have a few from Koei, that like a couple here and there, right, where they make partnerships. Those are not guaranteed, right, and they're usually not day and date, right. If they want to make that happen, they're going to go buy somebody, right. That's what's going to happen. To do that, they need to be able to say, okay, but we're not going to take them first party, right. We're not going to like say that everything is locked down exclusive to us. They're going to take them as a third party publisher. You can do whatever you want, but it's going to always guarantee games on our platform and in Game Pass, right? This is a model they're going to kind of go after. So if they go stay exclusive, and again, I hate the idea. I'm with you on this. I'm just trying to play devil's advocate, right? Mm-hmm. Say, all right, if we switch it over and say, okay, they don't do this, they stay exclusive, how easy is it for them to get the next thing? It's going to get harder and harder for them to do it. If, however, they say, don't care,
acquisition,
everything goes everywhere.
The acquisition thing seems to be woven into the Xbox mindset now. Like, how much more do they need to acquire to be? They don't need to acquire more to be competitive.
It's money. You have capital to spend. you spend that capital on things that generate revenue for you, right?
But you can invest that into your companies that have it to generate revenue for you and not have to go buy another studio because they have whatever the number is, 40 some studios. Somebody's probably going to tell me later it's exactly 37. I don't know what the fucking number is. But they take all that money and they invest it into their studios.
Which they're doing.
But I want to say something. You look at PlayStation, okay?
Mm-hmm.
I like both. PlayStation and Xbox. I support both of them. But PlayStation has done a pretty good job of investing into their studios.
Yeah.
They partner with their studios when they're pretty small, and then they build them up. Sony Santa Monica. You look at all these different studios, they got in with them early, and they helped to build them up, and they continue to invest back into them. Me personally, just my opinion, I would like to see Xbox do the same with their studios.
They should, though.
I know, but do it more aggressively because there is no reason, and I think Phil agreed, there is no reason in, 2022, there was 0 games, right? No games in 2022? That shouldn't happen. Last year was a little bit better. I reviewed Hi-Fi Rush. Game was excellent. I loved it. I reviewed Redfall. That was a shit show. It shouldn't have come out. I'm not sure what happened in that development process. Some people enjoyed it. More power to you. I just thought that it failed.
If you enjoyed Redfall, you're a piece of shit.
I just thought that it failed the expectations. I reviewed Forza Motorsport. That game was a downgrade from what they showed. Did I enjoy it? Yes, I did because I love racing games. But when I compare that to Forza Horizon, I'm sorry, Forza Motorsport was a downgrade. Starfield, I was blessed and thankful to be able to have 2 weeks to play that game before it got out. Thank you, Bethesda. Shout out. But it had flaws in it that we should not have in 2023. It had loading screens in it that we should not have in 2023. So my question is this. How much money can Microsoft invest into the studios to either A, give them longer development cycles if they need it, because I want games to come out complete and have a nice quality. I'm totally appreciative of unique artwork. It doesn't have to be mind-blowing graphics. But I don't want to play a game on my console at 30 FPS in the year 2024, the year of our Lord. I just don't want to. I want to be able to sit down and play 60 FPS and it be a good experience no matter the art style. So until Xbox Game Studios is able to deliver that across the board as a minimum, right? I'm going to continue to say to invest in their studios, not go buy more. If they want to go buy more once they hit that threshold, go do what you got to do. Go buy whoever.
So when would that be?
I don't know. I hope
the year 2080.
I hope it's this year.
Look, you could say that about anything, right? So like Days Gone, was that highly rated? No. How about Destruction All-Stars? Was that highly rated?
I didn't play Destruction All-Stars, but I did play Days Gone.
I could go into many PlayStation games that failed miserably, right? But it is what it is. It's just part and parcel of the thing, the way it goes. If I look at Nintendo, for instance, they are very hit and then very miss. So they have some real stinkers. But, it doesn't mean like it's the end of the world. They also take chances.
It's not the end of the world, but I think whenever you are going out, I understand why they went and bought ABK. Totally get it. I get it. And I know it is what it is.
Mobile.
But I don't think that we should be pushing or saying that, hey, you should go purchase this company to get in. You should go purchase this company. Yeah. At this point, they have so many assets under management. They have a shit ton of assets under management.
And the management is the issue. Yeah. I would like to see them grow that. I would like to see them grow that up. Absolutely.
To where it is a quality ecosystem that you're getting from Xbox. And
absolutely.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm fully there with you. Until Xbox and these studios, ABK with a 10,000 staff, by the way.
17, but yeah.
Well, more than that. And I guarantee you, and it's sad to say this, but I guarantee there'll be massive layoffs there as well. Watch this space. And not that I want it to happen, obviously, but Microsoft has no track record of actually proving to us that they've assimilated these studios well and produced quality, barring some like you've got your Double Fine. I think Hellblade 2 is going to be incredible. We'll talk about that in a bit. Bethesda, mixed successes critically. I like the game, really great game.
So everything they put out is not quality. This is just great. I love it.
I didn't say that.
I literally just gave the example where they did well.
I didn't say that it wasn't at quality.
Okay,
I'm
so
saying
outside of Redfall,
consistent.
what do you point to? That so you're saying Starfield at 30 is the
No,
problem?
I'm sorry. Well,
8 years, by the way, to develop.
343 delivered one of the biggest. They failed so badly that they had to
At launch.
Where's the leadership? They're gone. Right?
Yes.
We fucked it up. We agreed they should have fucked. They fucked that up,
But
didn't
the
they?
game did
Redfall,
come out quality, did it not?
Forza
Or was
lost
it
the
bad
racing
at
crown.
launch?
It wasn't Redfall. Forza. We gave Turn 10 so many flowers. Forza wasn't as at the level we were expecting, and they were supposed to be.
So now, okay, so Forza is a fail. You're saying,
It's
even
not
though
a fail.
it's a mid-80s,
It's not a fail. Why are you putting words in my mouth? I've never said it was a fail.
But this is what I don't get. The like, okay, what exactly does it need to be?
They just acquired these studios in 2018. State
Turn
of
10 was
Decay. Have you
created,
seen that?
right? So forget about that.
Did we see
right?
anything from State of Decay? We hear that the studios internally turmoil. Half the people have left, so they're not even there yet. Where's State of
They
Decay?
bought a studio with 10 people in it, and the leader
Where are
left
they?
like a year later.
The leader left a year later, and then they had internal turmoil. That they said that they were annoyed at Microsoft being hands off with the management of them. That's a direct quote about Xbox's mismanagement. They pointed at Microsoft. What do you want us to do about it? What about the initiative? The freaking creative lead leaves. 90% of the, remember, quadruple A studio, they've left. Where is that? Massive question mark around it. It's you have to be completely blinkered to think that everything is going smooth sailing. And all we're
It's not,
asking for,
but
all
that
we're
happens
asking
all
for
over the
is
place.
you have all these acquisitions. We want to see Microsoft evidence,
Right.
consistency.
So in your world,
in
the industry should always just say, you know what, we need to slow down. We need to figure this out.
We're saying
And then
Microsoft
like,
needs
dude,
to prove to
get
us.
over it. This is bullshit.
How is it
You're saying you
bullshit?
work in a company, right? Let's assume it's one of the big four. You think they sit there and say new technology? Yeah, we should hold off.
Well, you're
We need to
making
think
arguments up
about
in
it.
your head.
Let's
No one
be
is saying these things.
clean.
You're concocting an argument in
Nobody
your head.
does that. Have you seen how they're working on AI? They said jump, and they're doing it. They said,
I
"Well,
think
take
he's got,
the
like,
liability."
he's
They don't
me,
give
and
a
I think
crap.
Tyler Durden is behind Hard
They're
Kenny.
going to
whispering the wrong things.
absolutely keep going. If you think that these big companies are going to sit on hundreds of billions of dollars sitting there going, we need
We're
to
not
be
saying they're not going to
clean.
do this. We're talking
That's
about what our
never going to
preference-
happen, dude. No
We're not-
board sits there and
What?
says, I'm
Just
going
making
to wait
an argument.
20 years for my return on investment. They're like, what did you do for me in the last quarter?
You're making up your own arguments. You're arguing against yourself. You're not
No,
recognizing
bullshit,
what we're actually
dude.
saying.
You take the investment. If you're a shareholder,
doing it.
you give
Still
them
doing
money. You give them money to invest into something to give you a return. Not, I'm going to wait 8 years for the next
all we're
game,
asking
and
is,
we need to clean it
all me
up.
and Detective Hughes are
That's not what they
saying,
want to do.
all we're saying is we want you to settle down and show us, because this is, people have to manage these, right? We talked about poor management, right? You said there was poor management questions, but there are question
In
marks around
343.
Xbox, right? Well, look, all we're saying is let us see, because you've taken on a massive burden with ABK. Matt Booty has a big job on his back. Buy more, buy more, buy more, and then manage it later. We are saying we're not fans of that. Let us see how you assimilate these studios.
And how long
under
does
the
that be? About 5 years? Maybe 10 years? Maybe 15 years? Maybe 30 years?
Maybe 2
40
years.
years?
It could
100
be
years?
It could be 2
2 years.
years.
He's still going with the years. He's not
I mean-
even listened to us.
What do you want me to tell you, dude?
Oh,
Like
you-
the last
wait,
Call of
I
Duty
want you
just
to
came out
listen to
under
what we're
Microsoft and it
actually
sucked, right?
saying. You're not
It was like a
listening to what we're
mid-50s.
saying.
So are we going to say ABK is a fail now?
What are you talking
That
about?
game-
What's he talking about? What are you saying?
Here's what I'm saying. I guess maybe let me clarify.
Yeah.
I do not want them to go purchase more property until I see, this is just me personally, you don't have to agree, no one has to agree, until they have that property under proper management and we see a solid release schedule at good quality. There is no way, I guess maybe there is a way, because everyone has their interpretation of art. I personally did not feel that Redfall was their best foot forward. I did not think that it. Okay.
How dare you?
Okay.
How dare you?
I just had lots of passion going around. I wanted to fight. Go on, carry on.
Arcade also
Yeah.
should make 3 more games simultaneously.
Yeah. Fuck that guy. I thought that I love Forza. I spent probably 60, 70 hours in Forza, but it was a step back from what I experienced in Forza Horizon, and I would even say the last Forza. I just felt that it was a step back both in content and presentation. That was my interpretation of playing it. When I played Starfield, I enjoyed Starfield. I recommended Starfield as a game that I would play. However, I thought that there were aspects within Starfield that could have been done differently and brought to market differently, i.e. the 30 FPS on console. For me, just me, I would prefer to see 60 because I know that that's what it's capable of. So I'm not saying that these games are bad. I'm just saying that for me, in my interpretation of them, if they need extra time to fully cook to be at a quality level to where they're not only selling well, but they're also performing well to the public. That's what I'm saying. I just want to see an investment into what they have before they bring under more assets under management. I hope that clears it up. I'm not trying to say it's bad. I'm just,
but exactly. And when Hellblade 2 comes out and Avowed, both of them come out, forget the frame rate. If they do well, then there's less pressure. They're like, all right.
Right.
But they won't. They won't do well.
In terms of critically, I'm talking about the good games. Why do you think they won't do well?
First, it's Xbox, so that's an automatic negative. So at best, you're going to get mid 80s, right? And so, and on top of that, you're going to have this thing. Oh, it has 30 frames. It has load screens. It's just always going to be there. It's always going to be there. There's always going to be negative knocks. It's just the way it is.
Right.
But there has to be some level of critique in saying that I don't want to go from getting into my spaceship, hit a loading screen while I'm climbing the ladder to get into my spaceship. Like we've seen other games that do this. Take No Man's Sky, where you can do certain things. So my question is that a design?
No Man's Sky.
No, I'm asking a question. Is that a design choice? Is that a design choice that they wanted to go with?
Yes.
Or
I don't
did they
think
not
so.
have enough time? Like what is?
Yeah,
that's what
I think I think ideally they would want pervasive like kind of going into it, but they just couldn't do it because maybe the pitfalls.
That's what I'm asking.
Yeah, no, I agree with you.
Yeah.
I agree with you.
I mean, they literally gave them 2 more years.
I get that. I get that.
100%.
I get that they did, and we got a more polished Starfield as a result of Xbox's involvement. But what you were saying,
they're never going to win. By the way, they're never going to win.
But winning is what to you?
You tell me.
IGN's little gold star.
Nope, because I don't think
winning to you?
IGN cares. We keep hearing this whole thing about quality. I mean, I've done all the freaking metrics on it. The quality is almost essentially exactly the same between PlayStation and Xbox.
And
yet
you're aggregating Metacritic scores, and that's what your
Correct.
idea. But for us as fans, like Detective Seas gave you a specific example of why for him, Starfield didn't bang as much, or why Forza was a step back. And we're just giving our subjective opinion of what we believe quality
right. And so when
is,
Baldur's
the
Gate does
quality
that, because it has load screens, you gave it the same knock, right?
Yes, I did not like all the load screens that were in Baldur's Gate 3. When I'm playing
Why is that
game,
a 96?
I didn't rate it a 96.
See what I mean, though? But this is what I get.
But you're conflating. You're
like that. So why
you're not talking to IGN or GameSpot right now. I'm just saying that these are things within the game that I didn't like. It's another question that I asked about when it comes to Xbox games development onto their system. Baldur's Gate 3. Why did it not release on Xbox at the same time as PlayStation, and why did they have to pull out some features? I'm asking a question. It's no hate.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck about comparing to Sony. I don't. If you do, brother, that's on you.
No.
I give 2 fucks.
You're now
less
saying
about
that
doing
the next acquisition is dependent upon some potential quality thing that I'm just not able to quantify.
No, I'm not. I'm saying instead of taking the money and spending it to buy something new, invest in what you have.
Which they have, by the way, a lot. They've expanded most of those studios.
But in 2022, they had no games come out. Zero.
Right, but that doesn't mean that what should they have done?
Whose fault is that?
What should they have done with that?
Whose fault is that, Huggy?
Right, because what you're saying is that Starfield should have just released.
Whose fault was it?
Right? But then you're saying Starfield needed more time.
Was it?
So Starfield was supposed to release that year, right? and they said, okay, well, no, this doesn't seem to be good enough. So you're saying they did what you wanted, which was let's give it more time. And then you're saying we should now.
2022, they had nothing.
Bet.
Whose fault is that?
Based on
No, but Gaz, you're taking a victory lap on bullshit. You exactly wanted them to spend the time. Okay, shut up for a second and listen.
Okay.
You said Starfield wasn't good enough. It needed more time. They said the same thing. Starfield was supposed to come out in 22. Yes or no? Was it supposed to come out in 22? Yes or no? Yes or no? Yes. Okay. Yes. So what did they say? It's not good enough yet. Let's give it more time. So you're saying let's do what you wanted them to do, and then you're giving them crap about it. Which one is it?
Huggy.
Which one is it?
I'll tell you what it is.
Should they have just released it?
Let me answer your question.
Okay, go ahead.
Thank you. We're grateful that Microsoft, as I said in my review, as a result of the delay,
you acknowledge it. Okay.
You didn't even let me answer the phone. I got into.
You did. You just did.
Three words.
You just answered it.
Wait. Oh my fucking! let me finish my sentence.
This is why I can't argue with guys that are hardcore on one side or the other.
Why don't you even let me speak? I'm saying, like I said in my review, this is the most polished Starfield we got as a result of Microsoft allowing them to give them the extra years period. But the Starfield wasn't perfect, and we're just saying they could have done some things better. Now it's not black and white like that. So we're just saying we want the studios to sell. No one is against it. I know you want them to acquire the entire universe, but we're just saying we're just postulating. I can't believe we've gone on a tangent on this tiny point about mine and Detective Seeds. Just our view or our desire that Microsoft just shows us a couple of games.
It's a great conversation. I agree.
Hellblade.
Right, it tells you different sides of the same thing, right? But I'm just curious, what would you want them to? Like, you keep telling me it needs to be better. By what metric?
I made specific things that I would have liked to have seen on each game.
Right, and so like the specific thing is they should have no load screens. Okay, so that's the thing you want, no load screens, and everything has to be 60 FPS. Is that it?
That's my.
Okay, so for me, Starfield, I'd like. They sold us the spectacle of space. Yeah, the space traversal, you were relegated to a bunch of PNG files, which were the planets on there. They didn't embellish that. It wasn't great. Mechanically, I thought that they didn't do that. Yes, No Man's Sky, people will mock it, but I liked the pervasive...
The bullshit of No Man's Sky, right? Yeah, okay.
Okay, well, you're going to be dismissive about what my views are. Well, never mind. Anyway, this is going to be a circular argument. Let me hit these super chats. What a messy show. I love it. L. Paul with the $5 super chat. Xbox was the Western PC-centric box. If you didn't want PlayStation Asian games all the time, Xbox was your console. Xbox had its identity then, absolutely, especially in the 360 gen, but there was some good strides with Lost Odyssey, which I actually need to complete. Daddy Passion Official with a $5 super chat. Gaz is worried about losing his argument. Xbox isn't going anywhere. I'm not saying it's going to die until we move to the next stage of gaming, which is mobile and TV cloud native gaming. Okay, I don't know what argument you think I'm trying to lose, but I'm not against them going and evolving. I'm just saying don't forsake the console, which is the nucleus of this thing. But you play on PC and you don't like Nintendo games. Danny Passion Official, you piece of... I'm just playing. Finesse4J with a $5 super chat. Microsoft did something similar with Windows phones. Wow. That's an example of that. And they regret that. Satya Nadella. I'll tell you what this is, by the way. This is Satya Nadella, this bald head. He's just sat there and he said, I had to take a cut from my bonus. Now I'm sat here and you bastards, bloody bastards, get to me some more revenue, bastards. PlayStation, Nintendo, everywhere, bastards.
Which, by the way, matters. I'm just saying. But yeah.
Okay. Miguel Ivers with a €5 super chat. Where's the Hi-Fi Rush animated series? Fighting game spin-off made by Oxys Iron Galaxy. Turn it into an Xbox franchise first. It's short-sighted as fuck. Well, they'll have less incentives to take risks because they can rely on the revenue from PlayStation. Roshan Eppinger with a $5 super chat. Detective, why doesn't your industry assessment include Sony going third party at the same scale you suggest for Microsoft? Sony's profits are lower than Xbox. Is it actually lower? Okay.
Yeah, it is. It is. Okay. And it's getting worse.
Okay.
because their games.
Steve, do you want to answer that?
Yeah, I think that their outlet is going to be PC and not putting it over on Xbox or Nintendo.
Okay, so I mean, they're doing that now, and they look like they're sticking rigidly to the year.
I think that
they have.
I think at some point they probably will, but I don't. I go back and forth and here's why. Sony knows their market in terms of how many consoles are going to sell, but like we said earlier, consoles are starting to get to the point where we may see that cutoff. I don't know what that cutoff is going to be yet, because I don't think that we have enough yearly data to see what that's going to be. We know I got to be careful what I say. The PS5 Pro is coming at some point.
Right? Yeah.
Next year, we know it. Detective C.
This year.
So we've heard, yeah. So yeah,
it's definitely coming. We know
I'm not going to be that guy.
It's
okay,
this year,
we
though,
know
right?
the specs of the thing. We know it's coming.
Yeah, I'm not
It's
going to be
this
that
year though, not next year, right?
I'm not going to say when it's coming, but yeah.
24, right? Yeah.
We're 2024. Sorry, I fucking.
So
yeah.
I think that that PlayStation as a whole functions much different than Xbox, because I think that Sony, they do like to pump out consoles, where I think that Xbox is going more for that software, what they exceed in. Microsoft is a great software company, and I think that they're going to go in that direction. Sony has a very different business model, and they don't have to do that if they don't want to. It's almost like, it's like going into a strip club, right? When I was in the military, we used to go to these strip clubs, and you would.
This is going to be good.
Yeah, it's going to be great. You would go in, and you have that one in there who charges like $200 for 3 lap dances, and you're like, oh, that's kind of salty. And then you have one over here that she wants to generate more customers. She wants to get in front of more people. Neither one of them are wrong. It's just they know their markets. So you have Toothless Terry over here who might do $25 a lap dance, and she might do $25 in a night. And then you got this chick India where she's like, hey, I'm going to do $200 for 3 dances. I think that Sony is going to continue to keep their content within their ecosystem.
Keeping their badge tight is what you're saying.
They're going to charge you they're going to charge you $200 for those 3 songs.
I think they need the money. I think they need the money. Not
enough to go to other platforms.
Not enough to go to other platforms.
I think they're going to do day-and-date PC. I think that's going to happen.
So
and they have to add mobile.
Premium stripper may just go $150 a dance, but it'll still
that won't get you canceled, by the way. We're good.
And they have to add mobile somehow in a significant way. They are very, very behind in the mobile.
I think their live service pursuit that they're going after, I don't know what that looks like long term, but
I think that could.
There's a game from Nason coming, right?
You got Horizon 2 that's coming.
That's a normal one, but no. This is a game that I think it was a Horizon-based game.
Horizon MMO.
Yeah. That's not even coming to PlayStation, right? It's coming to PC and to mobile, and I think that's where they start this pivot. They 100% need to go to mobile at some point.
They're going to widen that ecosystem, but I just think that the business model for both are different in this race.
They're going to align. I wouldn't be surprised if it changes in 10 years for them too. I think they're just going to go everywhere.
It might at some point, but I don't see it here in the near future because they're selling too many consoles.
Okay. Mr. XX. BG says that's not a confirmed fact about an NC software. I know it's speculation. Mr. XS Homaru. Sorry, I don't know why I struggled to say that. With the $5 super chat, shout out to you, man. Because I think Xbox hardware would have been in a better spot if they had done a leadership change years ago. The current leaders just seem clueless about consoles. Well, we'll talk about hardware, I guess. Well, we won't talk about hardware, sorry. But I do kind of agree with you. It's not a leadership thing. It's just their execution. They flopped it. Gamer by choice with a $2 super chat. I play 4 hours a day, and I cannot tell 30 from 60. You have my condolences, Gamer choice. How the fuck? Lao Shimazaki with the 1,000 yen. And Lao's been pissed off. Lao, I see you on socials. You're vexed just like I am. I personally do not want Xbox to acquire more studios if they fix Xbox's brand and vision. Because right now, they need to fix management and messaging to Xbox. Definitely agree with you on the messaging. point. Danny Passion Official with a $5 super chat. Gaz has cancelled a bunch of go live shows. Spoiler alerts. Bad management at GameOnDaily. Huggy, I'm with you 1000%. Wow. I can't even go to the hospital. I'm not allowed to go to the hospital because Danny Passion Official says, fuck you. Bad management. Ice Razor with a $5 super chat. Phil said he promoted Sarah and Ronald in the Xbox division. That should tell you where their priority is for the Xbox device. Ronald McDonald. I did not mean that, Ronald. Oh man!
Wow, dude.
Ronald, what the fuck is this? Ronald.
You just called that dude a clown.
I did not.
Way to go!
Wow! Shout out to Jason Ronald. He's a great
Ronald.
dude.
Jason. Sorry, Jason.
You caught it straight, man.
Oh my god. The views of Huggy do not align with the views.
Jason, it was a mistake, Jason. Don't do it, Jason. It's nice enough to actually reply to my DMs as well, so I don't want to burn. Used to be. William Carano with a $2 super chat. Jez was firm with Destin today. Des was firm. What the fuck are they doing?
Destin and Jez did a little podcast thing today.
Oh,
on
well, that was like
channel.
some sexual escapades. No Hellblade 2 Avowed.
You would take it.
We weren't talking about strippers, so yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh my god.
Jez was firm with Destin today. Good man, bang that. Well, anyway, no Hellblade 2 or Avowed. I'm telling you right now. I don't want it to be true.
Sorry,
Why would I want this to be true? Or even postulate about this shit? Like, we'll see. Ultimately, we are split on this strategy. Yes, there's an element of me console warring. I've been doing it for 3 decades. I just wanted to carry on. I love the console warring, but I do firmly believe that it will be a massive dent towards the competition. Ultimately, I do also
I'm with you,
the landscape
but there's
will change.
2 ways I'll be okay with it. Is if there's a quid pro quo.
Acquisitions.
No, is a quid pro quo. Hey, you get this game, but I get that game.
I agree.
Okay, that's fine.
Well, that won't happen, but yes.
Or they do the acquisitions. Otherwise, I think it's a fail. I think it's a massive fail because the system will just dwindle. It'll just dwindle, right? If they have so many games that people come here anyways, then fine. If they have their games, I'm okay with that too. You get Hi-Fi, I get, I don't know, Spider-Man, whatever it is, pick one. I don't care whatever it is, but pick something.
Yeah, I don't think that will happen, but I agree with you on the principle of it all. PlayStation is not even going to bring your games there, apart from maybe live service.
Exactly. That probably is an equal exchange, right?
BG, I don't know why he's obsessed with acquisitions.
Or something like that. Or
maybe, well, yeah, maybe. We'll see. Or Destruction All-Stars.
No, they can keep Destruction All-Stars. Yeah, but RNC I think didn't sell that well, right?
Ratchet Clank
So maybe bring that over, maybe put it in a Game Pass, get some revenue. Like I've been saying that they should do that for PC releases anyway, because it just makes sense. What the heck? You're putting it on PC anyway. Just put it in PC Game Pass and take the bag. Like take some money from Microsoft.
Speaking of hardware, do you guys have an S? Any of you?
Yes.
We have an S to give away, by the way, which has been in my grabbing cobwebs in my attic.
So I've never played on one. I have X's, and I guess one of my big questions for Microsoft with some of the game development that we were going around about earlier is there a development hiccup when trying to do parity with the X and the S? I don't know the answer to that because
Probably is here and there, but for the most part, no. And the other thing that I noticed is like, if you hadn't seen the X version, you'd almost just never care because the S version looks really close, right? It's when you actually do the comparison. But then I'm like, well, if I do the comparison, I could also turn on my 4090 and it will look hella better. But again, if I just play the X version, I may not care because I've never seen the 4090 version, right? So it's just really relative. The S versions actually look pretty good, right? If your TV is very, very large, fine, it might be something you notice. But if you have like a 50-inch or lower, it's pretty close. It's very hard to tell.
So I have a follow-up question. If it is hurting, I don't want to say hurting, but if it is disrupting, let's say, development.
There's no way around it, right? Yeah, it's going to take time.
Yeah. At what point do you drop the parity?
The thing is, it's a good question. A lot of people will be asking that. We'll have cross-gen for a while anyway, and then Microsoft's idea forward compatibility. I think the questions regarding xCloud come into play to kind of bridge that gap. I'd like to think that they would take a harder stance on and a more ruthless, clear-cut stance on the S going forward, because that's an indication of just how much more powerful.
Wait, so
the
by
Xbox
parity,
Next
do you
is.
mean not releasing it on the S, or do you mean just features?
Yeah, the feature parity.
Features. I mean, it can be a case by case, right? Like if it's a feature that isn't absolutely necessary, then fine, right? Like they did with that co-op local. I mean, is that the end of the world? I don't know, right? Like it's nice. It really would be kind of nice, but
the reason I'm asking
online, so
the reason I'm asking this is because when Blade got brought up and everyone's going back and forth on is it going to stay? I had two thoughts that came in my mind. Either A, it's going to be multi-plat and they're going to take it and they're going to sell it over on PlayStation, Nintendo, or they don't want to say anything yet because it's going to release on whatever Xbox's new console is going to be.
I think that is a more likely thing, by the way. I think like if they're really doing a 2026 console release, Blade is likely going to come out around that time, right? It's like early in development, right?
Yeah.
But the other thing I'll note is that when Bethesda proper does a normal announce, they almost never put the platforms.
Okay.
That's just how they
I
do
didn't
it.
know.
You can go
Yeah,
back to every one of their announces. They never have the platforms. And the first time they show it to you. And then later on they figure it out and then give it to you. Now, this might be something that they should change, but they just let Bethesda proper do the marketing of this, right? And that's how they do it. They usually never show you platforms on the first announce.
Yeah, I didn't know that. So.
Parasite 82 Green with a £10 super chat. From a business standpoint, thank you for that. It makes sense, but from a consumer standpoint, it doesn't, because it takes away from the console war banter. Yeah, sure. And also hurt creators' channels, as they will have less news. I guess so. I think a lot of content creators do rely on the console-centric stuff, but they should be talking actively about games, which is what I'll be doing my channel. But you're right there. And also the console war thing isn't actually inconsequential. I'll tell you why. Microsoft relies heavily on its core group of gamers, no matter how inconsequential or tiny you think they are, to actually actively spread the word and market the brand, because Microsoft's typically not been that great at it. So
and Phil said that too, right? He said the console matters, and that's fair. It really does matter. It's the ecosystem.
Phil, back up your words. I want to see that. And if you like, well, we'll see. That the proof will be in the pudding, because right now I don't feel valued by Microsoft as a console owner, and I primarily just play on my Xbox. Dwayne Colavito, thank you, cool name, with a $5 super chat. Y'all say Xbox is at fault because of Starfield was not at 60 FPS, but it was not their fault. Todd Howard themselves said they made that decision. I am not blaming Microsoft for the 60 FPS. In fact, I think it's a creative decision, and I actually back it because of global illumination. It will be the same frame rate on PlayStation. I almost guarantee you that. So I'm not stuck on the frame rate personally. I just think the scope of the development of the game, whether Microsoft could even, it doesn't matter. It's just the way it is. It's
my personal preference.
Yeah, that's absolutely.
I played it on PC because of that, to be honest. Right? I'm like, I'm not going to play 30. I'll just go to my 4090, which, by the way, also solved the load screen problem, because my load screens were like a 1 second thing, because I have such a fast SSD. It's just like, click, I'm there.
I did. I ended up playing on. I played on both because I wanted to see, test it. And for me, I don't know if maybe it's because I do normally wear glasses or what it is, but I can tell the difference.
Oh, you can tell the difference. Like the motion flow, right? It's just, you can tell the difference.
Yeah. So it's all. I'm not saying anything. It's just personal preference of what I would like to see, especially in a shooter, is the 60. So hopefully people understand where I'm coming from there.
Yeah. Well, that was a very animated discussion, longer than I imagined, but that was that's my favorite type of discussion. Very fiery thoughts all throughout. Asa has been quiet for at least an hour and a half, so apologies, Asa.
I don't know where I am or what's happening right now. I can hear a lot of passion and lots of passion, but I have no fucking clue what about.
we will change to the next topic. It's the big one, actually. This is where the focal point should have been. We couldn't have avoided the Xbox third-party chat, because we have genuinely strong opinions on it. So it's good to have to air it out. It's really nice, because I didn't get to do that last week.
It's like therapy.
It's therapy. Always therapy. Just shouting and screaming is the way we do things. Xbox was getting raked through the coals through a lot of people say it's just conjecture, it's just rumor. Okay, if you think that it is, I hope I'm wrong. By the way, I hope I'm wrong.
Same here.
Guys,
I really hope this is all bullshit. I really do. That would just
if the
totally
community
be
comes
awesome.
at me, because guys, you piece of shit, it was wrong, and throw some shit in my face, I said it's fine. I would eat that shit gladly because I just want this to be false. But if it is, let's see. But the next, whilst this was setting the internet aflame, it hit fever pitch on this one day. The next day, it turned around because it goes to show how fickle people are, or gamers are. The Xbox announced the developer direct, which we knew was coming, but it had some very pleasant surprises. Our Story Untold is not a pleasant surprise. No, but it's one of the less anticipated games. The RTSs are typically a lot more niche, which is why you've seen them dwindle. But Our Story Untold is one of the games.
History Untold, right?
What?
It's Ara History Untold.
History Untold. I couldn't even get the name right. The last RTS I played was Dune Spice Wars. Really good game, by the way.
You've not got the
Very
genre
hard.
right either, but carry on.
It's an RTS, isn't it?
It's a 4X.
It's a 4X. It's a trading game. You buy some Bitcoin. Well, what? It's a what?
4X. The 4X is the, like I can't actually remember what they stand for. No, it's like expansion, exploration. I can't remember. 4X is a genre in and of itself. It's not an RTS. Yeah, like Civilization.
Civilization. Oh, okay. I haven't played Civilization since Civilization 2.
These are ex-Civ developers, right? That made this. I think they built their own
they're
studio.
ex-Civ developers as well.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, wow, it was actually quite cool looking. Yeah, I'm not going to play this.
I don't know. The last trailer I watched actually made me kind of interested in it.
The graphics are quite great there for an trading 4X game. But yeah, it looks really good. Not really my thing, but you gents looking forward to playing this?
I'm going to try it out.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know that I will have time.
Yeah, I mean,
just for my reviews.
Yeah.
I don't really have time.
See, this is the thing with like games like this and RTSs where you have to devote time, or fighting games. It's really sad. Like I don't get to play. It's really sad.
Honestly,
I don't have time
it couldn't be
to
much further away from a fighting game. I'd say that much right away. But 4X is like a genre. I can't remember what the X's are. Each one of them stands for something, and it is a massively expansive genre that some people will get into a particular 4X game, and they will just play it for years. It's the kind of game that can do that to you, and I've never managed to. Like, it's not the most accessible of things, but I look at it and I really want to play it. So when you look at the 4 games across the showcase, and I know we're going to talk about them individually, so I won't go over that. But I'm really curious about this one, just because it is so different to anything that I play on Xbox. And much as there are games, particularly on PC, there's a lot of these games available. This one is going to be put in my lap. Like, here it is. Go and try it. See if it's interesting. And it could be. It could be something that I love, or it could be something that I try and go, well, this isn't for me. But I'm really interested to see what it is.
Yeah.
And I think it's like you start off at like an early age, and then you go through up to civilizations, and like you can choose what's happening, and then like the outcome becomes whatever you chose, right?
You've got
on those lines.
You've got this genre of 4X, right? Which is, it's a thing in itself, and it's big and it's relatively successful, but it is quite niche. And then you get a project like this that is published by a big company, and you know that Microsoft are throwing money at Oxide to make this happen, and you can tip it over from being niche and inaccessible to being something that might be stunning. I don't know. Like, we'll wait and see. The director's next week, and I don't know if I'm going to like this game whatsoever, but I'm genuinely very interested to see it.
I think I'm kind of disappointed it isn't coming to console, because that means it won't go to cloud. But then they could put it on like the NVIDIA cloud or something like that, right? But to my knowledge, it's only PC, right? It's not coming to console.
I thought it was console as well. I could be wrong though.
But that would have been kind of cool, because I think this is a good accessible game from that level, right? So cloud, right? I think it would be kind of cool to have it there. But hopefully they partner with NVIDIA and others to actually put it in the cloud. I think this would be a great game to have mobile. It'd be a great potential for it. But yeah, it is at least PC. But yeah, it has potential. It can be a good, like, I play a round or two when I'm just in the middle of something where I'm bored for a couple of minutes, right? Like maybe I'm traveling or something like that. I can just play this. It'd be kind of a cool game to play. I don't know.
What's the release date on that?
We don't have one. Hopefully, this will give it to
okay.
us.
Gotcha.
But I'm going to guess based on the Dev Direct from last year that it is scheduled for this year. I'm going to guess that this is scheduled for this year.
Yeah,
if
with
I
the
had to
late
guess,
from
maybe
last year, it'll be
Q1.
this year.
Yeah, so I'm going to guess Q1, right? But I don't know yet.
Okay. We've also got Avowed. We're going to get a deeper look into this.
Very interested in that one.
Very interested in that one. I'm hearing some mixed rumblings in the background, but yeah, well, I'm looking forward to see what Obsidian do. I find it weird. I think Obsidian are great. They've obviously got a good pedigree. Still haven't gone around to completing the Outer Worlds yet, which is I was hooked. I need to stick to one game, which I am doing now. BG, I'm sticking to one game at a time, minus multiplayer, because I'm back on the finals. But Avowed, we're going to get a deeper look into this. I think a deeper look is going to be quite needed because we got this sizzle reel, which didn't immediately wow people in terms of the visual fidelity of it. Dodge, you say Obsidian don't miss. I heard this about Arcane as well.
I don't know.
I
hate that phrase because so many times we hear that BioWare never misses.
Naughty Dog never misses. CD Projekt Red never misses. And
I don't want to hear that.
There's no guarantees with any studio, minus Rockstar, but maybe even Rockstar. You never know. So I just when I see that, I'm like, you're tempting fate there.
Yeah, I say like, hey, Rockstar has a great record.
Is Dodge's fault,
but like one of the main people that worked at Rockstar left, right? So,
I mean, even Michael Jordan missed a few shots.
That's true.
Yeah, exactly.
He was a basketball player for you nerds, okay?
Even Tom Brady lost a couple of Super Bowls.
That's right.
Yeah, and you never know. I don't want to tempt fate, but I mean, this isn't a game that looks like it's bereft of any like creative input. This is the game that they obviously want to make. You could just tell it seeps character based on the sizzle reel. Anyway, I got fooled by Redfall, which looked like it had a lot of character, but this one oozes it.
Oh right, Arcane, another one.
I was a little when I saw the initial trailer. Maybe I might have missed something, but then I saw the reel. I could have sworn the initial trailer we saw that his hand had some type of like blue effect coming off of it at the end where it came up and it said Avowed. And then in this newest trailer we had, it was almost like a plain white dude's hand that was out there. Do you guys remember? It was like a blue effect that was on the hand whenever Avowed trailer first came out. And then
you mean the CGI one?
Yes. And so I was trying to figure out, like, is that maybe a power that you acquire and they just didn't want to show us that far in the game on this cut that they showed us? Or did they take the powers out? Like, I was genuinely confused by that.
I'm pretty sure
you have powers. Yeah, because you can see that in this trailer.
Yeah.
But in the one that I saw, I don't, maybe I need to go back and watch it. I don't remember seeing any powers in the open hand. It was a sword.
Okay.
And then he was doing like a hand gesture thingy to make like this stuff happen in the air. And
that's like that.
Right.
Yeah.
So the
I need to go
original
back and watch
trailer,
it, 'cause maybe I missed it.
No, but the original one wasn't gameplay, right? It was a CGI teaser, probably made by an external studio that was supposed to capture the vibe of the game. So Obsidian would have given them some assets and some information about what it is they're going for, the tone of the trailer and all of that kind of stuff. But it's not as representative as actual gameplay. So.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I wanted to ask because I didn't see the other one, I don't think so.
Yeah, we'll get that question answered when we see it. Hopefully this one will be good. I'm looking forward to it. That kind of high fantasy thing isn't really my cup of tea typically, but you know, Obsidian is good to see. They never miss. And I'm not invoking that they miss. We're gonna see this next one, which I hope we bloody get a date for. Hellblade 2 is going to be shown off, and so I'm a deeper dive into that along with the date. I don't want them to show too much for the game as well because it gets into a little bit of spoiler territory. But you want to see a little bit of that combat. Wouldn't be nice if you had like this because she's overcoming her, mental demons or whatnot. Like there was a co-op element. Someone comes in like because she's now leading a team, so they'll come in and in the combat, like, help assist with it, or they have interactive elements where someone grabs you from behind while you're mid-combat, and then that sets in a different set piece. That would be a cool mechanic, no? Yeah. Look forward to seeing a little bit more of Hellblade combat. We saw a little bit of it. It seemed, I think a lot of people were surprised, Detective Seeds, that the game was quite close, very close to its predecessor.
I just on my channel, I did a story analysis on Hellblade. I went back and played through and went through and completed the game and really did a deep dive into what made the game, for me, so personal, especially if you go through and you battle some of those things. And it's more, to me, Hellblade is more than just a game. Like, that was an experience.
Yeah.
To go through.
Angling for.
Yeah, to play that. And I mean, they nailed it. So the combat in it, I actually didn't think was too bad. I had some parts in there where I was kind of stuck in certain areas and I couldn't get out, and it got kind of annoying. But I will be interested to see if there's more combat in the second one, and if they ratchet it up even more to more
I think
visceral.
It's needed.
Yeah, more visceral and bloody style, I guess. I'm all for that. So
that's where I think it would be that's the step that I think it needs to take. Like, so the puzzle elements have to be a lot more inventive than they were last time, because that was just really bad. Like, angling the camera a certain way. The same goes for the combat. I'm with you there. Like, it needs to be more visceral. There needs to be more detail as well in the visual feedback, which is why I was alluding to those two mechanics that would be nice features. No, that would be kind of enhancing. It'll be just get up close and personal, because this game also, by virtue of the fact that this was the game to be, it's crazy to be unveiled alongside the Xbox Series X, and is an incredibly visually stunning looking title from what we see. There is automatically a lot of pressure on Hellblade to deliver, and those kind of things will go a long way in its critical reception, which will be doomed anyway, according to Hagi. IGN will give it a 3. No, I'm just kidding. Hagi, what do you expect from Hellblade 2?
I mean, Hellblade 1 was okay. This is the one I'm least looking forward to. It's okay.
Oh, wow.
I just don't. Right. Look, the problem with this kind of game is it's literally the Sony formula, which is just a sad mom walking simulator instead of a dad. Okay.
It's slightly different. But yeah.
Whatever.
I get that on socials a lot.
Compared to like.
To this?
So I whatever. I mean, you're probably looking forward to it. Maybe, I don't know, but I find it's going to be very samey for the first one. That's what I'm seeing. You're going to have that same vibe of the mental issues. By the way, that's a cool concept to go after. That's fair. But ultimately, like, was it a fun game for me? It was meh. So
that's the thing. It's not. I guess it's one of those weird ones. It's not
unless
designed
it pumps it up a lot. Which I don't see, by the way. It looks much more the same to me. It just, I'll play it, of course. I'll play it. It's fine. But am I expecting a lot from this? No. I don't expect like this story to blow me away. It looks the same. She's gonna have like mental breakdowns here and there, and like, okay, cool. And then the fighting looks very similar. I mean, I'm not trying to poo-poo the game. It's just like the first one. That's what it made me feel like. It was good. Like, for what they did with the small development team is incredible. I'll give them the kudos there. But it's like from a gameplay perspective, it just felt, this is okay. Yeah. And that's kind of where I'm going in with this. Like, okay, it might be better than that. But to me, it's not going to be the most compelling game that they're releasing this year.
Dodge says Hoggy has completely killed my buzz for the game, Mal. Thanks.
Look, and again, like, it's just like Baldur's Gate. Like, there are people who will love it. And then there's like, I just like, right. So, and some people are going to love this game. I know that some people are going to love this game, but it's like, for some people, it's like, it doesn't vibe for everyone. It just is what it is. Right. So I hope it'll be fun, but it looks much more like the first one to me. And the first one was kind of a drag. I don't know, just like, okay.
Yeah.
Just get this over with.
It's not for everyone. Like you say, Asa, the game wasn't really, it's a weird one, isn't it? It's not really designed to be fun like your per se.
I love it, and I didn't enjoy it. Like it's in a really weird position because I regularly say that games for me are the best medium that there is for storytelling and in every way, shape, and form. And we have a habit, or a lot of people have a habit of looking at games and saying, well, fun is like the core that makes it a video game. And I think that reduces them down to like child's toys, which isn't really the extent of the medium. But you're absolutely right, Hagi, that for some people, if you make a game that's not intended to be fun, some people do not want that experience. And Hellblade, much as I revere it and hold it in really high esteem, it was a difficult play and I would never play it again. So when they tell me that they're making a Hellblade 2, I'm looking at it thinking, well, they're in a really weird position. Like they've got a really tricky path to navigate because Hellblade 1 was quite unique and quite arty, and that kind of project wouldn't normally get a sequel. And you'd normally, if you look at the gaming landscape and you look at where these kind of games come from, it kind of parallels movies in that the big budget, high end ones from massive publishers, they're the Marvels. They're safe. They tell a good story and make you feel nice. But the stuff that hits hard, that's normally indie. That's normally small. And it exists. And the same is true in gaming. If you look in the indie scene, you can find stuff that are telling you serious stories and trying to make you think. Yeah. But now Microsoft and Ninja Theory has to navigate this space where they are making a AAA game that aims to do that. And so, I think they're in a really difficult position. I'm really curious to see it. I'm not so curious to see it at the Direct. Like particularly, I don't want to see more footage of it as such, but I'm really curious to see how it lands and like, if they can pull that off, because I think it's very difficult for them to nail it.
So Asa, just like a thought came to me because of you. This would actually be a compelling VR game because of the way it's set up. Right, like you hear shit, you're like, whoa, what was that?
Asa has enough voices in his head to play a game like that.
So this could be a very compelling one if it's done right. It could be a compelling one.
You can play. There is an official Hellblade VR. Like they did that. Ninja Theory did that before they were acquired by Microsoft. There will not be a Hellblade 2 VR apart from the Unreal Engine injector because they're not allowed to do it anymore. Phil Spencer gets motion sick.
We're just gonna have to work on that with Phil. It's like, yeah, dude, we kind of need to, like support VR. What's going
on? Based on the conversation you guys had at the start, Phil, it's fine. Don't worry about it. I'm playing. You should do it when it's worth it. Rafiq 145 with a DZD. What the frick is that from? 500. IGN just taxed Xbox and got community noted on it on Twitter. Not shocked at all. This was based on IGN don't help themselves. They know what they're doing. Take the piss. Xbox finally.
Wait, what is he talking about? What happened now?
So, IGN made an article praising the Xbox's first party roadmap. So how does IGN praise Xbox's first party roadmap? By saying this: Xbox finally has some first party games coming this year, and it surprisingly looks more promising than the PlayStation 5's 2024's offering. I bet it was Mustache Guy who may have put this, but the community note said, actually, in 2023, Xbox released Hi-Fi Rush, Redfall, Minecraft Legends, Forza Motorsport, Starfield, and updates for the live service. So Xbox isn't finally releasing first-party games.
So from a first-party output perspective, Xbox and PlayStation have released the same number of games since the generation started. Just saying.
Could have added that in the community note if you are on Twitter or X, but you're not, are you? So you can't even help the good people. But you got community noted because IGN just like clickbaiting like shit. IGN suck. Poxy 1972 with a membership for 27 months. I'm looking forward to the Dev Direct next week. Great show, guys. Yeah, we all are because that as the ponies crumble, desperate for their secret showcase, Xbox gets it just like this. And the big one, the final one that surprised a lot of people, Indiana Jones, and apparently rumblings that it's slated for this year. Indiana Jones is not only going to be shown off, it's going to have 10... are you going to say PlayStation?
I thought you were going to say apparently rumblings that is confirmed for PlayStation. No, you're not going that angle. That's good. Carry on.
Oh no, we're not opening that can of worms again.
Oh yes, we are.
You never know, though. Anyway, Indiana Jones. We're going to get 10 minutes. 10 minutes of now whether or not it's 10 minutes of gameplay, we don't know. Or Or 8 minutes of someone talking, and there's a little video. Right, mate, we've really tried hard with this game. Just show us more gameplay. But 10 minutes is a long time. And Indiana Jones getting a look is pretty good. It's now the signaling of Xbox getting in its cadence and starting to release games, because there's also some other murmurs of Contraband also potentially coming out this year. But that's not first party. But yeah, like Hellblade 2. Oh, sorry, Indiana Jones. This game... A lot of people, I saw a pony, J-Dub, this pony. He asked a very good question, actually, even though he was console warring. He said, do we expect, don't come at me, this is his question. The reason I bring it up, I think it's a pertinent point. Do we expect Indiana Jones to look as good as Uncharted 4 on the PS4? This is a game being built by Machine Games. The games have visually been okay. But Hellblade 2, Detective Seeds, I keep saying Hellblade 2, Indiana Jones. What are you expecting from Machine Games with this one?
Well, I haven't really seen much. So, I'd like to confirm that it's going to be in third person, because I've seen some back and forth on third person or first person.
Yeah.
I personally, again, it's preference, I don't want to play a first person Indiana Jones game.
It has to be third person, man. It would be so dumb if it isn't. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I would rather play third person. I would also like to see, I guess before I say how I think it is, I'd like to see who all else was involved in the development process of the game, in terms of shooting mechanics, things like that, because I saw somewhere that possibly id Software was involved in their
Tango and 343.
Now, see, I don't know why you would have all four of them involved. That puzzles me. But if it is what it is, maybe they're collaborating. But I would like to see if id Software is involved. That would give me a lot of confidence in the shooting mechanics of the game. And so,
I mean, Wolfenstein's was okay, right? Yeah.
What's that?
Oh, yeah.
Wolfenstein's was okay, right? The fighting, the shooting.
Yeah, I mean, id Software, they're pretty good in the shooting department. I mean, even when you look at Starfield, Starfield had some help from them coming in, and I thought the shooting in Starfield was fairly crisp compared to
like Machine Games has been using id Tech for their games, right? This is an id Tech based game, I assume. And so
I would assume. I don't know.
This one is, but yeah, they typically do.
Yeah, because we haven't seen it a lot on it. So, man, if it lives up to Uncharted, because I'm a huge Uncharted fan, that would be awesome. I think it's too early. I haven't seen enough to say yes or no.
Tango is an interesting one in that, don't they do third person stuff?
Well, didn't Tango do the weren't they involved
Evil Within?
High Fire and Evil Within, yeah.
And then Ghostwire Tokyo, which I think was first person.
Yeah,
it was first person. It was the
pretty cool. I need to go back to that.
Like a yo-yo.
Yeah, that was really cool.
I'm wondering if that's where they were kind of looking at that, maybe, right? Some third person potential there.
I think it has to be in third person.
Yeah, Big Bad Mo asks, what's wrong with it being first person? I mean, I guess we shouldn't really prejudge that, to be fair. Actually, if they have a vision for Indiana Jones in first person, then fine. But they'd have to really sell the case, because Indiana Jones is quite iconic character. You want to see the hat and see the the whip, and also the opportunity for them to kind of go at Uncharted as well. A little bit of rivalry. It doesn't have to be, but it'd be nice.
It doesn't have to be.
Or Tomb Raider.
I would have to see it, because I don't think we've seen anything on it other than like the one kind of intro thing. So I guess for my own personal, like what I'm envisioning by watching all the movies, I kind of want to see him like going around, jumping and using my whip and shooting and doing things. So I guess it's a preference that I would like to see it be third person. And if it can compete on the level that Uncharted did with the puzzles and going on these different hunts and stuff, that would be awesome. That would be a huge win in my eyes from them.
Also something fresh as well, because we haven't seen Tomb Raider for a while. And like an exploration
or Uncharted, right? It's been a while since Lost Legacy. Is that right?
Yeah.
They brought it to PC, and then that would be a big win if they did that.
I only get to find out in a few days. I'm really excited to see what this game is going to pan out. As long as you don't have the stupid like typical tropes of like climbing walls all the time, but at least mechanically make it something different.
Will short round be in it?
Pressing X square and just going.
Oh, who? Sorry.
Short round? Is he going to be in it? Short round? Come on, short round.
What's short
I
round?
doubt it.
You haven't seen Indiana Jones for the...
You don't remember short round?
Come on, short round. Well, we're going to get fucking copyrighted now. For
Yeah, right.
Really? For just miming it? You never surprised me. So is it coming to PlayStation? No, okay. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Looking
I'm
forward
the
to it.
opposite, by the way. Like, my enthusiasm for... I don't know who I'm going to upset here. I think it'll be everybody. My enthusiasm for the Indiana Jones games is not very high. One set of fans. Because I don't really like Uncharted. There's the other half.
Two sets of fans. Yeah.
And I'm like, I struggle to disconnect them because Uncharted was so clearly an Indiana Jones inspired game. And I played them all. I like them to a degree, but there's so much about those games that I don't like. And I can't get away from the fact that now they're making an Xbox version of Uncharted, and I don't really like Uncharted. So when I look at these games in terms of my excitement for Direct, there's every chance, and people have reframed it for me in a way that I appreciate, which is machine games make really good games where you kill Nazis. So this could be another really good game where you kill Nazis, because that ties in with Indiana Jones as well, right? It could just be a completely different vibe to Uncharted. Or they could pull off Uncharted and do it really well. But the thing with the Indiana Jones IP is like most people like it because they like Harrison Ford, as far as I can tell, more so than actually the vibe or environmental setting or anything like that. The plus side, machine games are very competent. They are very technically capable. They've got a lot of money behind them. This is a Disney IP, so there's going to be a minimum, like there's going to be a high bar as the minimum standard of quality that they have to hit. They can't release a bad Indiana Jones game. Disney won't stand for it. So to all intents and purposes, what they show might really impress me, but I can't divorce it from Uncharted. I didn't like Uncharted very much, so we'll see.
Yeah, I get where you're coming from, Uncharted. I do tolerate at the end. I was waning. It's been a while since we had an Uncharted game, so that kind of like I can stomach a new Uncharted or Indiana Jones now. But yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. We're going to get to see a lot of this game. And you know, the funny part about this is we haven't even seen ABK. Like, they weren't even part of the show. Everyone was like, when is that coming? When's that coming? And they're like, not yet. And I'm like, holy crap, man. Like, we were expecting that to be... You would think they were chomping at the bits to reveal ABK stuff or introduce it into Game Pass. And then still, they haven't done it. So for me, that's a very positive. Because, like, it's a show... It shows that Xbox has such a diversity. You've got... whatever this Arc Aura is, some XXX quad 4X game. You've got Avowed, which is a first-person RPG. Like, that's crazy. Indiana Jones potentially third person, and third party.
Hey, guys,
that's a bad Freudian slip.
I'll be back in a minute. Can you do the super chats after you? I'll come back.
I will do.
Okay.
Do you think Towerborn, is it Towerborn as a shadow drop?
That would actually be a very good candidate for a shadow drop, actually.
Yeah, I wrote down some of the games, and I was thinking about, you know, shadow drop like they did with Hi-Fi Rush, and I like that they did that, and I could see them doing it again. You know, the other one was 33 Monkeys. Did I write that? My hand,
I don't know what that one is.
But I figured that they would shadow drop something. You know,
is the shadow drop replaced on Game Pass? Oh my god! Is it even a Game Pass game? I don't even know. Replaced.
No,
I don't know if it is. Chat. Game? No. No. Replaced. Replaced as well.
Game Pass game. Yeah. I'm sorry.
Oh shit, man! I'm looking forward to that so much.
When do you think that they start bringing in? Because I mean, I'm thinking like ABK games. You have Diablo Season 3, which is going to be. Or not Diablo Season 3, Diablo's first expansion. Do you think that they will show some of that at their...
I think not at this one. Bracket. Oh, the next one?
Do you think they'll pull that into Xbox Showcase?
Possibly.
Instead of Summer Games, do you think that Xbox will start to pull that portfolio into their own showcases and pump up their own showcases?
I think... they have to play a balancing act. Obviously, they can't just have everything because the games, whatever it's called, that has quite a few eyes on as well. But
for sure,
I think with ABK stuff, it's a critical marketing beat that they really need to hammer home. It's very, very important to them. So the strength of that reveal, if they have and in January we're going to be riding high, hopefully, based on the manner in which these games are shown for a while. Like I say, a good couple of months, January, February, March, and then they do a show in March with the ABK stable of stuff. That would be great, and I would expect Diablo to be shown in there as well, because I think that's the kind of time to reveal it, right? Or release it even same day. That's one of those we're launching it today, and that would be pretty big spike in numbers there. But it goes to show Xbox has a veritable. This is what annoyed me about our first topic. Xbox has it. We've been talking about it for years. There's going to come a time when Xbox has so many games that we don't know which one to play, and here we are. The release date's pending. It's there, and that's why I'm it's there. It's there, and this is what Phil Spencer was alluding to. I can see it. Now we can see it on PlayStation. Let me read these super chats. Nariko, shout out to you, bro, with a £5 super chat. Thank you, man. He goes, I've got 3 big games that I haven't played yet. Cyberpunk, yep, Elden Ring, and Hogwarts Legacy. What would you guys say to go first? I already know I'll answer for Hoggy. It's obviously Hogwarts Legacy. It's for you. It's Hogwarts Legacy first.
Ooh, Hogwarts is great. Cyberpunk is really good. I just finished that at the end of last year. I hadn't played it. I waited for the patches. That's a pretty good game. That's a tough one. If you like Souls-like games, it's hard not to recommend Elden Ring. It is fantastic for those who love Souls games. It was the only Souls game I really played, and I actually finished it, if that tells you anything. And I struggled a lot. Hated a lot of the experience, but I still finished it, which says a lot for that game, by the way. So so that's a fantastic game. I don't want to take it it's a fantastic game. So those are 3 really good. It's a hard one to say. If you like the Potterverse, if you like Harry Potter, 100% go play that game. If you want a good Cyberpunk story, it's pretty good. The storyline on that one's pretty good. I would recommend Phantom Liberty. Buy it with it and play it together, and it fits right in with the storyline. Correct. It's really cool.
You should play Phantom Liberty first, or then Cyberpunk.
No. So if you play the game with both of it, right, it just naturally gets you into Phantom Liberty.
Oh, wicked.
And so it just becomes a part of the game, and it changes the ending. So it's really good. It's a pretty good game. If you like those especially if you like the Witcher series, you're probably going to like this. It's a pretty good storyline.
Completely different game.
But it is completely different, and the whole atmosphere is very different. But again, if you like the RPG elements, pretty good. And then Elden Ring. Elden Ring. You have to understand that you're not going to be prompted for anything. You kind of have to figure things out on your own. But it's a fantastic world.
Incredible world.
You can get help from players who've played it before. So, but it is a pretty good experience to go through. It is a very Souls-like. It's a tough game. So
I'm not a fan of the combat, but you're right. That atmosphere is something very special. That's why I've relegated that along with Sekiro to when my streaming is launched to play.
But if you're a Potter fan in any way, 100% just go play that game. It's so fun.
I think you do Cyberpunk first because it's really good. Then you do you do Hogwarts Legacy, get you nice and chilled in a really good mood, and then you go into Elden Ring, because when you get into Elden Ring, you're gonna be ready to fucking just choke slam somebody. I know. So you're kind of gonna go through those trends of emotions.
Yes.
You will. It's a very different.
The question
games.
was what to play first between Elden Ring, Cyberpunk, and Harry Potter, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
You disgust me playing these ancient games. You have to play whatever's coming out this week.
We're coming out in VR.
Yeah, right. Oh, right, exactly. Why these pancake games? What are you talking about?
Not in the world. Fucking guys.
Oh, shit. We got You got someone called Obama Drone Strike, which is an interesting name.
I love it.
With a $2 super chat. What the fuck? He's hyped for Indiana Jones, if that means anything. Shout out to Obama Drone Strike.
To clarify, by the way, just to, like, read it, I just have to say those 3 games that I mentioned, I've not finished all of them. They're all on my like currently playing kind of list, so I'm just being a twat.
Yep.
Play them in any order.
Yeah, I'm
great
the
games.
same. I'm the same, actually, funnily enough. Chris with the £5 super chat. Sony's secret showcase in time for Chinese New Year 2024. When is that? Actually, Chinese New Year is supposed to be February, March.
I think so. I think it's Feb. I don't know. Let's just look it
and
up.
it's the year of, I don't know. I used to work with a lot of Chinese people, and I forgot the year. The Zodiac?
F10.
That's kind of scary what they're doing over there with the mobile. If you're a company,
Bro,
Fortunately, I'm not a company, but
no.
if you're a company, you're right.
So I was talking to
they walked it back and got rid of
and
the guy, didn't they? I thought they walked it back and got rid of that. I don't know the political position.
Did they?
Got rid of him.
They might have. If they did, the guy's at the bottom of the ocean now. So I don't know, but because it cost Tencent like billions. I don't know if they walked it back, but it was.
I could be completely wrong, but I think they walked it back, and the guy that introduced that, I don't know Chinese politics remotely, but the guy that introduced that bill or whatever you want to call it is no longer in that position, as far as I'm aware.
Oh, really? Because that would have had a massive impact on gaming, by the way. The whole industry would have felt the ripple because they're a big cash cow.
If I remember correctly, Tencent lost like billions overnight. Their stock just
Yeah, they did, and that would have had a ripple throughout the industry, by the way, including the West. So hopefully that's just changed. So February 10th is the Chinese New Year.
To clarify, I don't hope, like, yeah, it hurt companies and it have ripples through games. I don't like the idea that lobbying from companies completely got rid of something that had been deemed good for people in favor of like corporations making more money. I'm not in favor of that particularly myself, but it's what I think has happened.
Someone made a phone call.
Yeah, basically.
Yeah, it would be stupid anyway to do that. So we already find out in a few days. It's been
my turn on Indiana Jones. I haven't talked about Indiana Jones.
Oh, sorry. Apologies. Go for it. Indiana Jones. Oh, you went away. Sorry for a while.
Yes,
yeah, sorry.
Yeah. So, Indy, first, the first party, if the first person or third person, I'm okay with either way, but this game just really lends itself to third person.
Yeah.
And the reason I want it is like, look, Indiana Jones has set pieces, and this is Microsoft's turn to show us a game that has set pieces, right? Like, you just start with Raiders of the Lost Ark. You have like the switcheroo, and then you have this big freaking ball chasing him, like that you have to have those kind of moments, and that just lends itself to third person, right? And you have like cutscene cinematic to gameplay immediately and switching back and forth, right? And this is what Sony does all the time, right? And like, this is a chance with an IP that just does that. It just does that, right? Do it. I hope what they said is, hey, I know you had a direction under Bethesda. Bethesda's budget was this. We're Microsoft. Here's our budget. Please go make this into something that's like a, Sony game, right? Because there's no reason not to. You're getting a Disney IP. Take advantage of it and push it to the limits. Now, again, I'm okay with either way, right? I'd have to see what they do with it. But this just lends itself to that platformy, third person, right? Set piece based game. So I hope they did that. Do I think they did do that? Well, I don't know. Right?
Yeah.
So they have the opportunity, right?
Yeah.
If they take advantage. So the question is, will they spend the money to do all those cinematics, right? And push, into that mode, right? To make this a, hashtag just one that COD keeps looking for, right? This could be that game, right? And it gives you a very cinematic experience that goes back and forth with, cutscene to play to cutscene, right? And it lends itself to it. It's Indiana Jones, right? So I'd hope they went third person. I hear it's first person. Just saying, I think that's where it's going to be, but I would really like it to be a third person game. And then they could do those kind of things. But again, I'll see what they do with it. Surprised that this is happening here. I would have expected, since it's ready to go, that they should have had a teaser trailer at the Game Awards to get the 120 million eyes on Xbox bringing Indiana Jones to the platform exclusively. But oh wait,
I do like that they are they have the more confidence in their own show, because I think there would be and because this elevates developer direct considerably as well. Like, these are not sort of inconsequential games. Yeah, Ara may be a little bit more niche, but still, like, that adds a lot of meat to the developer direct. So it's just really good to show the diversity. So I'm kind of glad
they did show Ninja Theory, right? They did show Hellblade, right? So they showed that there, which they should, because they introduced it at the Game Awards. I think this would have been a great thing to show, right? They had OD, they had Blade, they had Hellblade. Why not just show Indiana Jones and say more to come next year? Right. And that would have been awesome. And then you just set it up in the Dev Direct. People would, say, oh, I want to see more about that game. They showed this nice little thing about what's going on here. Like, that would have been cool. Right. Because now you just slam dunk the Game Awards as an Xbox showcase.
Yeah,
right? I mean, it already was, by the way. It already was.
It kind of was anyway.
Showcase. But the number of people who are going to watch this. Sorry, what was that?
Did they say the duration of the show this year? How long it was going to be?
The Dev Direct?
Yes.
I don't know.
It's 10 minutes per game.
Okay.
Is it really? Oh, that's pretty decent.
That's supposed to be. But I think the show is longer because there's probably a shadow drop.
Has to finish up within an hour because the Elder Scrolls Online has an event the following hour.
Right afterwards. Do you think it's
Towerborn for the shadow drop?
Well, shadow drop means that you announce and release at the same time. That's
no,
what
I know.
Is, right?
What game?
Towerborn we already know about, right? We got that announcement last year. Was it last year or the year before? Whatever. At one of the June showcases, we saw Towerborn already. So it would just be a release date announcement, right? No, I think they have something up their sleeve. Right? No, a shadow drop is you announce it and release it at the same time.
Oh, really?
Like Hi-Fi, right? We had no idea what it was. They announced it and released it same day. That's a shadow drop.
To be honest, this is made up terminology that's like you can probably really find. You're right. Hi-Fi Rush, nobody had heard of before the day, so it was announced and dropped on the same day. I would think for most people, if you say, here is the release date, it's right now for Towerborn, most people would probably also be quite happy to call that a shadow drop. So I'm not disagreeing with you, Hargy. Like, that is a different thing from the way that they delivered Hi-Fi Rush. I think people would still say, yeah, this was shadow dropped if they did that.
I would have thought it was a shadow drop.
I'm just thinking the definition of shadow drop, that is what it is, right? So, and I hope they actually have one, which is like, it was
a new IP and dropped.
Potentially, there was Kiln from Double Fine as a rumor. And there's the potential for a Marcus Phoenix collection. There's potential for a DLC for something else. Maybe, I don't know if there's something coming for Halo or whatever, right? So it could be anything else. But yeah, it should be something new. I hope they do actually have something just new that we haven't heard about, and they drop it that day. But as far as this, first person, third person, I hope it's third person. Surprised that they're doing it in the Dev Direct. I think this is going to have maybe a quarter of the number of people that see it instead of the 120 million or whatever. And I think it behooves them to actually get the big number of eyes first, bring them to the Dev Direct, right? Because they kind of need to establish that, right? That, hey, we have a whole bunch of games.
That's true.
And come to our Dev Direct and we'll give you a lot more. And suddenly you get a huge number of people coming in saying, hey, I want to see Indiana Jones. What's going on with that? Right. So, it's an interesting choice that they chose not to do that. I hope it's not because the game isn't what we expect it to be, but we'll see, right? So that just gives me hesitation, right? So I hope it's what we hope it is. It's really good. And the other question I've always had is, will it be Harrison Ford? And I don't know the answer. I would love it to be Harrison Ford.
I think a lot of people associate Indiana Jones with Harrison Ford. The fact that they had him, like, he looks like a piece of old leather hide now.
None of that is because of AI, right? So they can, AI de-age him. They can just have him, or they can just take
AI de-age him. They're just going to build a texture of him like that.
They're going to forget to cut out that line where he's like, "Becky, give me my Jello." They're going to totally forget
that already exists. We've had that for a long time. We've had that for a long time. So you can AI de-age the voice. You can AI de-age the people. They've already done that, right? So so they can do that. That's not a big deal. Or they could just take his old lines from other things and then have AI create the actual thing and just pay him whatever. It doesn't matter.
Are you saying he sounds so different now because he's older?
Yes. Yes, your age does change your voice. Yes, it does. Yeah, you definitely sound older. So
the senior citizen puberty.
That doesn't happen to me, apparently.
You're not that old, buddy.
No,
but anyway, and this is supposed to be between Raiders and what was the last one? Last Crusade. So as far as timeline, right? So it's Temple of Doom, even though it came out different order, but Temple of Doom is the older as far as chronological age, and then Raiders of the Lost Ark, and then Last Crusade. It's in between those two. So it's an interesting time frame. It should be pretty cool. I hope it's a good story, right? So we'll see what they do with it. But yeah, that is kind of an interesting choice.
And a 2024 release. 2024 release, I imagine that will be.
I think all these are coming out 2024. These are all coming out 2024. And there's more coming, by the way. We don't have them coming here, but there's more games that are coming this year. We already know Flight Sim, for instance, is coming this year. Call of Duty is coming this year, and there's others that are potentially coming this year. So
Lao Shimazaki says the trailer for Indiana Jones has just leaked. Is that correct?
Oh my! Really?
It's probably got Bitcoin all over it, like Grand Theft Auto.
I can't see it though. I can't see it. I can't see it. Indiana Jones. You're trolling us? You're trolling us. Oh shit! He's not lying. It has leaked.
Wow. I assume we can't play it. Don't play it. Don't play it. Don't.
I'm not going to play it, no.
But we'll watch it outside of this.
Well, is it in first person or third person, guys?
Indiana Jones Xbox 2024 exclusive.
Says it's fake. I don't know. Somebody's saying it's fake.
Can't have nothing nice these days.
I'm different to all you because someone has come out and said in chat right now. Yeah, someone's come out and said there's an Indiana Jones trailer right now, and all three of you have gone to look for it, and I'm like, I don't give a fuck. Like, I'll see it next week. It's not going to bring the release date forwards. I'm fine. I can wait. I feel so weird.
It looks a bit weird. I know it's like the CGI trailer.
Don't you like games, Asa?
I love the games, but I love playing them. I can wait.
I
what
swear,
am I going to do for that 10 minutes of
fun.
developer direct if I watch that trailer now, eh? It's going to be boring.
It's fake. It's from Mortal Kombat 1. It's Johnny Cage. What the?
Very nice. Very nice.
Very, very well done.
Very nice.
Well done. Very well done. Thanks for that, Lau.
That was awesome.
Just made it.
Anywho.
Hope you all learned a valuable lesson.
Yep.
Yes.
Don't listen to Lau.
Don't listen.
Shut up.
Oh shit.
Chinese disinformation right here. That's Chinese.
Lau, that's not me.
Man.
Shout out to
That's an interesting release schedule.
What's that, sorry?
If all these games are coming this year, that's an interesting release schedule to see how they roll that out.
Yeah. I might even get a release date there and then. It's going to be a bit.
I hope they all do, but it's possible this
Hellblade
is just
2.
the beginning of the year.
Yeah.
Because they have a lot more.
Lau actually thought it was real. Lau, thank God, because I was like, that looks terrible. Not terrible in this. Oh, I expected more. That's definitely not Uncharted quality. But yeah. Shout out to 600 plus people already still watching. Hit the like button. We had a very, very exciting, very heated and lovely show. It was brilliant.
Awesome.
It was so good. Thank you. I hope you enjoyed it too. If you did, hit the like button. Before we go, we have to give the outros. Huggy, Chatty, you brought the fire. You always do. I know there's some exciting things in the works for you as well. Tell the people where they can find you also in the future.
Yeah, so HChani on Discord, HChani on Xbox, screw PlayStation. And I'll be on Fonz's Games Talk Live podcast every Sunday at 6 p.m. co-hosting with him.
Because you're a co-host now.
Yes, 6 p.m.
That's a
US
big
Eastern
deal.
time. And then I don't know when the heck RDX comes back, if it comes back. So we'll see what's going on with Dealer. Hopefully he comes back at some point. I'm also on Boomstick XL, or Double Barrel Gaming is the channel. His podcast on Wednesdays, 7 p.m. US Eastern time, primetime gaming. So check that out. And yeah, at some points I'm on our GameOnDaily. I'm part of GameOnDaily, and now we'll show up every now and then on Go Live to make things fun.
And there's going to be clips galore. I'm going to come back.
Hell yeah.
And there's going to be clips galore on Twitter. I know Astro Cyborg's working on it, but the ponies will have a field day and do the
Good
marketing
for them. If all they have is not games, but making clips of me, gee guys, maybe you should go get an Xbox and play some games instead. Just saying. Just saying. I don't need to play stupid Twitter. I can actually just play games.
It's amazing. It's amazing that you're not on Twitter.
I'd love to know how many games they play, right? So for me, it was 226 or so games last year.
Jeez.
10 of them not on Xbox, the rest on Xbox.
Damn.
Have fun trying to copy that. Have fun, go for it.
Oh shit, Ponies is calling you out. Damn, and he does play a lot. So shout out to you, Hoggy. Last but certainly not least, what a debut from Detective C. You injected so much sense in this third party talk. I almost hated you for your logic. It almost sold me on what you were saying. Because yeah, that is the future that I think the industry is going. But it was great. I hope you had a great time.
Yeah.
On the show, man.
Yeah, man. I really appreciate you guys invite me to come on. It's awesome. Hope to do more of these, in the future with you guys and other people that want to tolerate me on their platforms. You can find at Detective Seeds on Twitter, or on my YouTube is Detective Seeds, and I do reviews, previews, story analysis, gaming guides. And I just want to say thank you guys. Obviously we didn't agree on everything, but we could still have discussions, and at the end here still be.
I like it when we don't agree, because that makes it so much more fun.
Yeah, it does. It does.
Makes it back and forth so much more fun.
Absolutely, it does, and that's why I always wanted. When I listen to podcasts, I don't want an echo chamber. I want people to disagree vehemently. That's why I like Weapon Wheel. But yeah, shout out to you both. You guys killed it, as I expected. You guys are brilliant. And definitely sub to the channel. And thank you, Isla, for linking Detective Seeds' YouTube channel and socials as well. Asa, what do you want to say to the peoples before you say goodbye?
I started this show smiling, saying that I was enthusiastic and loving everything at the moment, and I've got to the end of it and I'm still smiling. Bits of it were just noise to me. A lot of it was brilliant. Chat's been fantastic as always. I've had a really good time. I have learned, I'm pretty sure, and you can call me out on this if you disagree, but I think that I like Xbox more than most of the Xbox community, more than most of the podcasts. I think they secretly don't like it as much as I do. So I'm going to make loads more content. I've got reviews coming. I've got
him to the platform. Right? You asked us what brings us to the platform. I would have loved to hear what Asa. Why do you like
Why
Xbox?
did you say that? Have I missed the angle there? What are you suggesting there?
No, I was asking it very genuinely. So I'm on and off the Xbox platform. I loved the first 3 years of the Xbox 360 for the games and the online vibe and all the rest of it. I loved the original Xbox. The latter half of the 360 I didn't care for. The Xbox One I didn't particularly care for. Microsoft today are doing a lot of things that I like in terms of Game Pass and the games that they're delivering, and they've got all of these studios. They're making fantastic things, and I'm very excited for their future. For me, this is why the question is interesting to me. I was literally picked this up from Hargey's talk on Boomstick Show, where you mentioned being loyal to them through the Xbox One generation and still being loyal. And I looked at that and was like, that doesn't resonate with me, because that wasn't me. Like I take everything, I'm very pragmatic, and I take them in the moment, and I like what I like in the moment, and if it changes then it changes. I don't really have that loyalty, but right now I like what Xbox are doing. So and I like what I'm doing on my channel as well. With the little community there is brilliant. We've got lots of things coming, videos, streams, podcasts, all sorts. So if you have a minute, subscribe over there as well. It's a very nice time. There's like Xboxy things and PlayStation-y things and VR things and all of it. Gaz, when is your channel finally going to launch?
It's almost there. I'm not even going to give you a date, but you'll know because there'll be a countdown on socials. It's almost there.
It's like an Xbox game. We have to delay
it. I have to until it's right. I don't want another Redfall. Hopefully soon. I'm just working my ass off. I'm filming more tomorrow for more shit. There's a lot there, but I don't want to over-engineer the thing. Whether people like it or not, I don't even know at this point. I'll get it ready, but I believe in it. So it's almost there. It's almost there. But yeah, thank you so much, everyone. Hit the like button on the way out if you enjoyed the show, and we'll see you next week. Peace.